Today's episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the easiest way to create a beautiful website, blog, or online store for you and your ideas. Squarespace features an elegant interface, beautiful templates, and incredible 24/7 customer support. Try Squarespace at squarespace.com and enter the offer code KINDOFFUNNY at checkout to get 10% off. Squarespace. Build it beautiful. See, I said it the way Colin likes it. Because he's with a comment. I think it's just Squarespace. Build it beautiful. Build it beautiful.
I like his way better.
Build it beautiful. Like that?
Yeah.
Use all this. Just leave this the entire thing.
No.
And then, no?
I don't think we're allowed. I guess we can do whatever we want.
We can do whatever we want, Kevin. We're God. We're gods, Kevin. Squarespace. Build it beautiful. Squarespace. Build it beautiful.
You know what I came to realize
All right.
this particular weekend? I've realized it, but I've accepted it now. Is with clothes, you get what you pay for.
You really do.
The best pair of jeans I've ever had were $200.
You should save this for the show.
It's true.
Oh, I'll do it another day. But I mean,
No, it's too late. Now we're started. What's up,
I can
everybody? This is
explain.
the Game Over Greggy show. You bought how much money did you spend on clothes this weekend?
$500.
That's awesome. Because this is something you used to say, tell me ahead of time. I think when we first moved in, it was what is it, every year and a half, like 2 years, you actually go out and spend a shit ton of money on
yeah,
clothes.
like lots of money, way more than $500. But now I'm trying to because you buy your wardrobe,
Your ensemble.
and then it just is there, and then you eventually look at it and you're like, I need new clothes, and so I'm trying to be better about like 3 times a year or so, adding to it.
Yeah,
Three times a year.
Yeah, instead of going and spending like literally $1,500 like over a weekend, where I'm like, I need just new everything, right? Like, and you just dig deep into the fucking bank account because you're like, I need clothes. Like, I don't, my shit's all fucked up. My shoes. So now, like, I get new pairs of shoes like a couple times a year, and then I'll just go to the outlets. I went to the outlets in Napa and bought, my Lucky Jeans and my Banana Republic and J. Crew shirts. Whatever. So I'm not going to the real store. I'm going to like, this
Yeah,
is
you're
last
getting them at a
season.
discount.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what I was saying was like,
How many plaid collared shirts we get on
oh
this
my God,
deal?
I have so many of them now.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I mean,
No,
that's
I'm
my-
well aware.
I don't wear them so much anymore because I don't go anywhere. I don't feel like I should put up, But back, like,
You're not
when
going to dress up for us.
because do you remember, like, it might have even been before Tim worked at IGN, but there was a time where I dressed more like this every day, and then there was a time where I cognizantly was like, I'm stepping it up. Good. And I'm
But
like,
it was like you say that you were stepping it up, but the favorite part of the stepping it up meant that when you ate lunch, you took off your shirt and you ate your undershirt like you were a 75-year-old Italian grandfather.
I forgot about that.
And then you'd
'Cause I
finish eating, clean up, and put it back on.
I stopped I stopped doing that. I forgot that I did that. So the point is that, because I was talking, I have a pair of Joe's jeans. Joe's jeans are like really, really expensive. And I
You're
got
saying Joey's or Joe's?
Joe's.
Okay.
Joes. And they're really expensive jeans. And I got them at Nordstrom Rack like for $100 or whatever. They're
Okay.
$200 jeans.
Sure.
And they're the best jeans I've ever had, like by far. And they're like skinny, like tight jeans. And I'm like, I can't believe that these fit like, because I grew up like kind of not caring so much about my clothes, or whatever, and I'd be like, I'll just go to Old Navy and buy like fucking 17 pairs of jeans. But they just don't. Nothing fits right.
Right.
And so my girlfriend really did convince me, because my girlfriend likes fashion as many women do and men. And she was like, you really do get what you pay for.
You do.
Like, you really do. And it's I'm learning that as I get older with everything.
Oh, yeah.
You get the liquor you pay for, you get the TV you pay for,
meat.
you get the meat, like at Andronico's, you get. It's true. I mean, I'm not saying it's always true. I'm just saying
Sure.
that generally, if you're paying more for something, but there is a threshold where you're paying too much for something.
Sure.
Like Eric always used the example, Eric Castro, of
Follow the leader.
like something like really high end, like
YouTube.com/kindafunny.
Blanton's or Eagle Rare, and then you buy something like Pappy. The difference between those is not as extreme as the difference between Jim Beam and Bullet. for
Sure.
instance.
Sure.
So there's differences on the low end too. So it costs a lot of money. I had to spend. I'm not much of a spender, because a lot of people are like, how do people on Twitter are like, you're buying $200 pairs of jeans, and I'm like, that's not.
This isn't a daily occurrence.
It's not even a yearly occurrence, really. It's just I'm just starting to realize more that you have to kind of step your game up monetarily.
Oh yeah,
important.
PSP. Thank you. Yeah. And Nick took me out and bought me jeans.
Yeah.
He bought me straight up real Levi's. And I was like, fuck. I look good in these.
You look fucking
They feel
good.
better in these.
Do you wear them up by your waist?
I do, but I start there because I know they're going to go down below the gut eventually. That's a big thing.
Weren't you the one who used to make fun of the way Greg
No,
wears
Alexis.
jeans?
Alexis
Alexis.
is
No,
on
I-
Belitas. I don't know what she's talking about. Portela, I got to move Portela. Because it's like, oh. First off, I'm a fat guy, so they're already falling down. You know what I mean? Just because that's how they go below the gut. But it's just, nobody wants the plumber's crack. And so the answer to the plumber's crack is to go up to where your hip really
I mean, you're
is.
wearing them where you're supposed to wear them.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
but
like,
no one wears them.
But look at, yeah, see, like right there,
right.
like the fat's already pushing it down. Like that's
Yeah.
not good. So you got to do the old Chris Farley.
Yeah.
You get him up there, you do that, and then a little bit of a camel toe, sure, but it's just the
But
bottom.
doesn't
It's
that
a
feel
lot of a camel
uncomfortable
toe.
though over the?
It's a lot.
That's
Over the
stuff.
gut?
Yeah, but see,
no,
when you
it
guys-
feels tight. I'm packed in, and I can get low. I can do squats.
Yeah.
There's no plumber's crack.
Well, you
Yeah,
guys
I
don't
don't
understand
You
because
do
you've
this?
never been fat. You
This
guys
is the
are
constant
you
struggle.
are members of Team Fat. That is not in debate. Like Greg's membership is in debate.
You're such a dick.
But what you guys don't understand is that you've never been without a waistline. Now, Greg, I apologize for this. I don't mean this as an insult.
Now you're gonna call me and tell me I'm in Team Fat again. I like it.
He is in that club with me. Like when I was super overweight, you just don't like putting on a pair of jeans, especially a pair of jeans that are quote unquote nice and potentially are a little bit more tight than they ought to be or are supposed to hug you. It's always a nerve-wracking experience because you're not quite sure where they're supposed to sit. Because unlike normal people, like Tyroot has a waist, right? Where like the jean just naturally sits there because it's sandwiched in between his two fucking amazing muscles, right? Like the ab muscles and the dick muscle or whatever it is. I don't know.
That's
the
it,
two
anatomically
muscles. Got
correct.
it.
Yeah, I'm
Biology
not a
101 with a
scientist.
kind of funny crew.
Not a scientist, but there's an ab muscle and a dick muscle. But when you've got the muffin top like I've got, like you just kind of put them wherever they want to go that day,
Yeah.
and they're never really that
They're gonna.
comfortable.
They're eventually gonna find their way back down there.
Yeah, they're gonna be down there no matter what. And then eventually you get to a place where 2 or 3 days later you put the jeans on and you're like, oh man, yeah, I must have lost a little bit of weight because these jeans are fitting a little bit better. Now you've stretched them out over the last 3 days, but you don't think about that. No, you lost a little bit of weight because you're working on that protein diet, son. Protein diet.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I will tell you this though. I went back a couple weekends. I don't know why we're all of the same mind lately because I went shopping the last couple weekends as well and bought some
I haven't
jeans.
bought shit lately.
And I went into Levi's to buy another pair of jeans because I'm like, I need another kind of blue pair of jeans. The ones I have right now are just getting a little too light and a little too worn because, wear them all the time. And since we go to these like conventions every once in a while, we'll do a nice meet and greet or we'll go to a party or something. And I kind of want to look a little better. So I'm like, I'm going to go buy a new pair of jeans. And I go in there and a couple things happened. One was
Boner.
the Levi's store in San Francisco was a madhouse.
Oh.
The one on Market Street.
Yeah.
It always is. That whole area is always
Madhouse.
crazy.
It didn't used to be when we bought the jeans there.
Yeah, because we
with
went Wednesday afternoon.
That's true.
If we just knock out over here and go buy jeans right now, it won't be that bad.
So I went in and they had like maybe one new type of jean. And I'm like, this is surprising that they don't have different, like normally a lot of vendors will every season there's just totally completely different new jean. But like I went back, I'm like, I already
Especially with
own-
Levi's, they just 5 and then put a number after it. It's like, dude, the new 542. It's like,
And you're
oh, I
like,
gotta know what that is.
But they're all the so I was shocked that they hadn't really changed the lineup of the jean that I love, which I believe is the 511.
Commuters. You like the 511 commuters?
I like the 511. And I'm like, oh, this might be new, but I think I have it. But it doesn't matter. I'll buy it anyway because my jeans right now are so faded. It doesn't matter. I pick 5 pairs and I go and I wait in line. Now, there's like 10 people in line and there's only 4 dressing rooms. And I don't know if you guys have ever tried on clothes, but Kevin, you get that?
Kevin's on it, everybody.
Kevin, you got it?
He's already moving.
Thanks,
you see
Kevin.
him.
This line's not moving and I'm getting more and more furious because I look over and there's a little roped off area with 10 more dressing rooms. And people are asking like, hey, can we just go in those dressing rooms real quick? And the girl's like, no, I'm sorry, we don't have the staff. Like we have to have so many amount of people here to watch because people will steal stuff and things like that. Finally, my wife's watching this and she's just like looking at her watch. And she's
yeah,
just waiting.
counting down the time till Nick
She's like-
loses his shit.
She's like, I'm like, this is ridiculous. She goes, oh, here we go. And in about 5 minutes, I was like, nope, and just dropped the jeans on the ground and walked out. And I just found the first person. I was like, go get your fucking manager. Which is my new favorite thing to say. I'm like, go get your manager.
So,
and the people
this happened recently
When I
with
say
us.
this to someone, go get your fucking manager. The last thing I want to hear after that is there a problem, sir? No, I'm using the fucking F word to you because I'm so overjoyed with the service in this place that I can't fucking contain myself. Go get your fucking manager. So yeah, the manager comes over. I was like, dude, it's unacceptable that I wait any longer than like fucking 5 minutes to put a pair of jeans on. Like, I'm like, I want to buy 5 pairs of jeans right now. For all you know, I only want to buy one. And I can't even try them on. And he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. We'll get a dress for you right now." I was like, "No, I'm going to go someplace where they actually treat people like they're not cows that are about to be slaughtered." And so I went to a designer jean store.
Is that how they treat cows that are about to be slaughtered?
Well, no, you walk into these places and you're fucking cattle, right? Like everywhere. And this is a big problem I have with San Francisco right now. There's just too many fucking people here. There's too many tourists and too many bums. And to be honest, I like the bums better because at least they fucking know where they're going. Like the tourists, no idea what's going on. They're just here to buy our shit and take it back to their
You're on
country.
Market Street. I mean, Market Street's a
I know. I should
for
know better than
fucking
to go down
tourists.
there because I have zero patience for people
That
anymore.
and Fisherman's Wharf, just stay away.
I had a friend of mine that came up. It was a nice couple of mine that just had a kid. And they're like, "Let's go to Fisherman's Wharf." And I was like, "You got a kid with you and a dog, and you want to go try to go ahead. I'll see you guys in 1.5 hours when you decide you give up on that and come back to my neighborhood." And sure as shit, that's what they did. But yeah, any long story short is like I ended up going to a slightly higher end store and walked
Walmart.
in, and not
Target.
only no, it was not Walmart or Target. The store's called AG.
Sears.
It's not. It's actually a moderately decently priced store. But I walked in and they literally remembered me from the last time I was in there. Like, "Oh hey, good to see you again. How'd that shirt work out?" And I was like, "It worked out well. That's why I'm back here."
That's the thing about getting what you pay for sometimes too. Is when I went into Lucky, which is a good jean place, not like the best, but they're good jeans. I had a woman help me from the moment I walked in there, and she like stayed by the dressing room and like was giving me Cheryl advice, and then rang me up and stuff like that. And then it's like, again, you get what you pay for. It was totally like a flawless, seamless kind of thing. She was very friendly. It was a very good experience.
I had the totally opposite experience of you at Levi's. But so which one did you go to? The one with the multiple floors or the one that's just the next to Old Navy?
Well, the one with multiple floors is gone.
Oh, is it?
That got torn down. Like I think they
found
I
it.
think they tore it down. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I guess we went to the same one, and I had the same experience where someone like helped me out from beginning to end, and I usually ate that. I'm usually like, leave me the fuck alone.
No,
like,
man.
I know what the hell I'm
I
doing.
must have just gone during the wrong time. But every time I go, it must be like just peak season for people that want Levi's jeans.
But I guess that's my thing. Is
I
it's like
guess.
I always know exactly what I want going in.
But
So I'm
also-
just like I just buy the same jeans
That's the
over
thing,
and over and over.
Is that you look good, so it's easier for you.
They're
Like,
just like-
when I walk into any place, whether it's that or Zimmerman's company, why can't I think of this? Men's Warehouse. When I walk in
Old
there,
company.
I know, but it was just the easiest way to get
How
to where I
dare
needed
you.
to be. Point A to point B on that one. I walk in there and I'll get a salesperson will come over and they always do the, "Can I help you?" And I'll go, "Yeah, dress me." And they always go, "What?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Put me in things that look good. I need to do this. I'm doing that." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
really? And I'm like, "Yeah, I do that at
Yeah,
Nordstrom's. I
I'm
do
just
it
gonna
there."
take you shopping from
well, that's
now
the
on.
thing is you wore that at that Levi's store.
I'm
It
just gonna.
worked
My
out really
wife and
well.
I are just gonna come with you, and we're gonna dress you.
Your wife scares me. I'd prefer if she didn't come with us.
She doesn't scare you. You've met her once in the 9 years that I've
No,
been with her.
I've met her 3 times in
Yeah.
the 9 years we've known each other.
And she looks different
Every time.
single
I'm
time.
pretty sure Nick Scarpino
Quick
just
story.
hires a random
last
woman.
Last week, me and Kevin decided to go to the district that Nick lives in to get some food because there's this place called Barney's Burgers. It's
Nickstrix.
it's the best thing in the world. So we get some burgers. Hit up Nick. Nick doesn't respond to us.
course
He's
not.
just
He
like, "I'll get back to you later." You
No, I
fuckers."
was on my way to.
Nick
a
doesn't
yoga. I was
respond
on my
to
way to a
text
yoga
So
Exactly.
class,
then,
actually.
then we're
Nick doesn't
walking
respond.
back
You
and we're
have
near
a
his house.
1 in 3 chance of getting a response from Nick when you text him.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. I've texted him.
So not true.
Yeah,
I,
it is.
I immediately respond to you guys. You are the worst offender. I asked you 8. I was like, "Greg, what's going on with how much these tickets cost? People can reimburse you." Nothing. You even were like this ... and then nothing.
I didn't know. What do you want me to do?
So we're walking. We're like right on the block of Nick's house, and we've done this walk a million times. And me and Kevin are just talking. He's just like, "Hey, like, what are the chances we run into Nick's wife?" And it's like, "She's around here. She's out here somewhere." He's like,
doing something
To be
out
honest
here."
with you, if I saw her, I'm not sure if I'd recognize her. And I'm like, "Yeah, she does. She like changes her hair all the time. And she's always just kind of like doing different shit." And he's just like, it's kind of like an action figure where there's the different like, there's Detective Donatello,
Yep.
and then there's like, football player Donatello and all that stuff. And he was just like, "All right, so we have the, blonde Nick's wife. We have
Yep.
the brunette Nick's wife. We have the I'm doing yoga, working
Yep.
out Nick's wife." And then sure as shit, like 30 seconds later, we see someone across the street kind of looking at us. And I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And then Kevin's like, "What?" And then so like we all talk for a second. She leaves. She's like, "Oh yeah, Nick's at yoga doing stuff." I'm like, "Of course Nick's at fucking yoga right now." And then we
Practicing
go our
my
separate
fucking
ways.
Shavasana.
And then Kevin's like, "There's a new outfit. It's the it's yoga, but I'm doing work. Like I'm working right now."
Oh, she has a blazer on.
Yeah, she was just like, she looked legit.
Yoga pants and a blazer.
And it was so funny. It was like, did she talk to you about
Yeah,
that?
yeah. She was like, "Oh, I saw Tim and Kevin," and I was like, she said something about how Kevin's girlfriend dresses him really well. She was like,
It's
"I
true.
can tell." She's like, "I can tell that Kevin's girlfriend dresses him," and I'm like, "Why is that?" She's like, "Well, he looks
She
so
definitely doesn't.
he looks so cute. He looks like
He dresses her.
he literally what she
What
said
do you
was-
dress her in, Kevin?
Pretty little outfits.
Like, what do you mean?
Like dresses?
Dresses.
Kevin's
Well,
got
what-
just
yeah, so
shouting
you-
matches with her. She like puts on a hat. She's like, "I look so cute," and Kevin's like, "Take the hat off right now." Like, just I'm not going outside with you with that hat on. And I'm like, I'll be sitting in the room. I'm like, "Good Lord, Kevin. Oh my God. Like, can we just?"
His hats though?
I mean,
they're insane.
to be fair, they're insane hats. But it's like, let her wear a fucking hat.
Paula's got like she's like an artist, man. She's got that style, like an art style.
It's true.
My style, you're saying.
Is it? I don't know because my wife's convinced that your girlfriend dresses you like.
Got it backwards.
Really?
Yeah.
It's interesting. You've been stepping it up lately, though. I really appreciate
I
it.
haven't. This is literally the same stuff that I've been wearing.
He came in today and he sat down in that shirt and he goes, "Yeah, this is one of the mildew shirts." And that's a real story.
That's a Paula problem.
And we
not a
have so
Kevin
many
problem.
free T-shirts. He could easily
How do
switch
you,
in. But
you
he's like,
gotta
"I'll wear
wa-
this."
you. That's such a blunder. If you leave, I know you didn't do it, but she has to understand that there's a rule.
Explain what happened, Colin.
All right. Well, so
Just
so
a backstory for everybody
Kevin
watching.
was telling-
I'm assuming this is a topic.
Yeah, this will be my topic. It's fine. Kevin.
No, it's not like that.
I don't care. I mean, Kevin came in today, made an offhanded comment to Greg about how his shirt was mildewy.
The mildew shirt.
And we've all been there before. We put something in the laundry, you forget about it. But you were saying that she left it there for like 2 days. That's 4 times longer than I would say you're supposed. Like if you, for instance, if you like before you go to work, you put something in the laundry, then you put it in the dryer when you get home from work at night. I think that's probably about as long as you should leave that stuff in there. Because even if it doesn't smell yet, it's going to smell when you dry it. So 2 days worth, and you're still wearing it, which is extraordinary. You got to throw that
So
back.
many free shirts.
You got to throw that back in.
Okay.
It's bad. You got to. It's bad.
It's not gonna get the black lung.
Yeah, you're gonna get.
Exactly.
This is exactly right. Got the black lung pop. So that I've been there. I've done that, and I've tried to get away with it in the past. You know.
Oh yeah, you try to power through it. I've been there.
Yeah, it's just like, but you smell. You can smell yourself. Other people can smell you.
You guys smelled it at all?
No. I don't think it smells as bad as you think it
It's
smells.
probably just your
It's
skin.
not as bad as it was last week.
But I
wore
mean,
one last week that I was like, I can't.
look at
And
you.
then
You
you had
got
to
you
put on
got
one
you
of the
got
free
you got
shirts.
nice skinny jeans on. You got a Henley. You look like
These jeans are
Nathan
faded.
Drake,
I'm
for
wearing
Christ's
them so long.
sake. It's great.
What'd you drop? What did you drop? Some yogurt there on there? Because I
I don't want to know.
recognize that
I don't
stain.
want to know
Well,
what that
because
yogurt
on
stain is.
my Sunset Overdrive shirt I was wearing yesterday, I was just
Right in the
eating.
center.
Yeah, I was eating yogurt on the couch playing Mega Man, and I was just like laying down and just like, I dropped like a huge
I noticed.
portion of it on my, and I just took my spoon and carved it along my chest and ate it, and then just kept playing the game.
I went out
But it
with
looks
my
like
friend
a-
last night, and we were at some bar, and then this dude was so drunk, he was just singing along to the song. He was alone, and like he just knocked his bottle onto him, and it was just like pouring down, like just pouring on him, and he just looked over at me horrified, pulled the bottle up, and just sat there, just kept singing, pretending like no one saw it, and I'm like, first off, I very clearly saw it. Second off, there is liquid just pouring on you, and you would rather try to pretend to look cool for a second than just clean it. And he didn't. He just left it there. But hey, his bottle.
Hey, he
was up.
powered through.
At
man.
least his stain didn't. Frankly, it looked like someone
There was a shot on
came
you.
on my
Yeah.
chest. I mean, let me just.
You got a money shot on your chest.
That's what I thought when he came in. I was a little drunk
I'm
playing
jealous.
Metal Gear. He walked in. I was like,
Like, was Nick
"How long
here?
have you been in the PJs?"
shot so far right up my own chest. I was all contorted.
Sometimes
Yeah,
you
it
gotta
was
get
just yogurt. But I was gonna say I recognize. I mean, that's either a cum shot or that's yogurt or
It's salsa.
salt.
Green salsa.
Oh, from
salsa.
last night.
No, from today.
Oh, okay.
I
Sorry.
got really excited for a minute. For
Well,
no
we
reason.
went out last night and we were eating green salsa that he made happen. In true Kevin fashion, I was like, "This salsa's not good." The salsa that came with chips.
And he pulled fucking salsa out of
Nah,
his
he
like,
jumped
pocket.
up, ran over there, found the maitre d'. Was like, "Hey, bro,
Where'd you go?
Tacolicious.
The fuck is that?
It's a taco place.
It's a taco chain, yeah.
No, it's not great. It's fine.
You
though.
know, it was. Here's the deal. It used to be really good when there was just one in the city.
Yeah.
Now there's like 8, and every time I get those tacos, I'm just like, why is this the driest thing on this planet? It's like eating a fucking salt lick. You know what I mean? We're just like, you know.
I gotta be honest. The food might be good. I can't judge it. Awful name. Just throwing it out there.
Tacolicious?
Awful name.
Tacolicious?
I like
Awful
the name.
Why is
Awful.
it awful? The only thing I think is awful is that I feel like people might not be able to spell it when
Yep.
they're putting it in Google Maps.
The whole licious thing, I don't like it. It was ruined by a show
Fergalicious.
called Jerseylicious, which was about hairdressers in New Jersey. It was a reality
I
show.
don't remember this show.
So now that's ruined for me forever. You see, even though the girls were kind of hot and in their own kind of way, and their own very tan,
Jersey-licious way. Yeah.
yeah, Jersey-licious way.
They're Italian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very Italian.
They certainly are.
There's just something about Italian women.
Oh yeah.
And I think that something is that it's no matter what, Don't shake your head at me.
Remember, he's Italian. Wherever
Don't
this
shake
is
your head at
going,
me.
he's Italian.
You know, no matter what, you're in for it. You know what I mean? Like you're in for it.
Yeah.
It might not be tomorrow. It might not be for a week. But at some point, that's gonna explode on you.
I know, just like my yogurt on my chest.
Yeah. It's gonna just explode all over your chest, and you're gonna have to deal with it.
You're going to have to go buy new shirts.
I know exactly. See, the problem with the yogurt though specifically was I shove as many like mixed nuts into the yogurt as possible, as you know, and I just have whole walnuts that are just way too big. Like I can't fit any of them in there. So like they're dripping over the side, and then the walnut was at the center of
You're on the
the
walnut
yogurt.
kick right now.
Oh
yeah.
my god, I
It used
love
to be
walnuts.
cashews.
It's that good omega-3s in those walnuts.
I'm trying to
good fatty acids.
I'm trying to eat more walnuts. I think that I just really enjoy them. They're just really expensive. I just bought a pound of walnuts for like $10 today. You know, cracked.
They're
already.
good for you. Just moderation. You gotta be careful. They're caloric, highly caloric, but they got the good fats.
Yeah, they're good fats. Well, I'm eating a lot of good fats right now with I put a whole avocado on my salad and a bunch of walnuts.
Good for
and
you,
just,
man.
And just lettuce and just eat it.
Cleaning out those arteries.
I need to.
Good for
I
you.
can't imagine what my arteries look like.
Especially
Especially
ricotta cheese is going on in there.
especially
It
because
probably looks
tonight
like
I'm
if you
gonna
were
make,
to take Kevin's pants and roll them into a tube and then look at them. That's probably what your arteries look like right now.
tonight. What's what I'm gonna make for dinner tonight? Tell me what you think of this.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm gonna take 2 tortillas.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a bunch of cheese on them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sounds good.
And then I'm gonna take 6 eggs. Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me it like a waiter would?
Oh, the eggs are farm fresh from a chicken in Napa. The chicken's name is Fred. The papers are right here for Fred. The tortillas are made at a local tortilla shop. The cheese comes from a dairy over in Sonoma Valley. So I'm going to take 6 eggs,
Right.
all over easy, 3 on each tortilla, and then crush the yolk and wrap them really quickly so that it's all just. And then, oh, by the way, on the tortillas, mayonnaise and ketchup as well.
Yeah, naturally. I assume you can just assume you can leave that off because my assumption is there's always mayonnaise and ketchup on anything you do.
Oh my god!
Well, unless
What a great-
unless it's pasta, in which
No,
case
no,
it's just
no,
gravy.
no, no,
You can't.
I'm very
fucking-
pure
you
with my
can't put
pasta.
it
I'm very pure with my pasta.
Yeah, I respect that, but I mean, you're doing good though, because like every time I see you eat, dinner's fine. That's your thing. That's cool. Like my thing, I like to do like kind of a carby breakfast, but good for you, man. Do you feel better?
I do feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clarity
Well,
of thought. You have your brain working better. How's your ball? How are your balls working? They're working better.
Balls are going. Look at my shirt.
You got hammered.
But
8 times the pressure in those things now. It's by eating some walnuts.
it's a shotgun blast. No, it's good. It's good. I'm just trying to
fucking sniper
I'm just
rifle.
trying. I'm not even really doing it to lose weight because I think I found a pretty good medium for my weight.
Sure.
I'm 175 now, which is way below what I was. I was like 200 of my habits. So, I'm just trying to eat vegetables. Like I just
good
like
for you, man.
not because I'm trying to lose weight, or whatever, but I'm just like I feel like the natural condition of the human is to eat
vegetables.
green things.
It is.
And I feel like my body's just like you got to do something. But I mean, the salad's not. I just got a bunch of leafy greens, and then I just put like some onion in it because I love onion, and then just a whole avocado and a bunch of walnuts and just Italian dressing. I just mix it up and eat it. It's fine.
It's good. It's a good salad for you.
I decided to lose 25 pounds.
How's it going?
Why I decided to do that? I mean, like I literally just decided to. Like
Like
right
in this
now.
conversany?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I don't think you
We'll
need
figure
to
it
lose
out.
that
Dump
many
the
pounds.
soda
Not,
out.
not doing it yet, but
I told you this before, and you
someway,
know this because you've done it.
Yeah.
All you need to do is stop
I'm gonna
drinking that
change.
soda.
I will change.
That's all you got to do.
I will do that.
You're not gonna change.
I'm gonna do it. I will.
That's
For a
literally-
little bit
that's
of
the
time.
only bad-
This is a limited time offer.
That is the only bad thing you consume. Everything
That's
else.
not true. But
Well.
this is the worst thing.
But no,
because
but,
of the
but
quantity.
okay, but what I've noticed about you is that you eat poorly. In that you eat food that is not necessarily is high in calorie, low in nutrients, but you don't eat a lot of it. So like when I see you eat like big burritos or like Pan Express, you don't eat the whole thing. You'll pick at it, you'll eat like some of it, and then you don't have that completion thing that I have in my brain where I'm like, there's still food there, so I'm clearly not done.
Yeah.
Like I'm super fucking no.
I mean, I'll eat it.
Kevin's gonna-
I eat a lot. I just don't eat that much that often.
Right.
So it's like I only have 2 meals a day.
If you ate 4 meals a day, really small meals, and you ditch the Coke,
Yeah.
you would shed weight.
So I think I'm gonna do that.
You would shed it.
It's gonna be
You
great.
got to eat breakfast though. I know you hate eating breakfast,
I'll figure it
I
out.
hate eating breakfast too.
but you should
can't
get
do
up
it.
and have a little something
A little
protein, just a pure protein, like a couple eggs or something like that, just to get your body started. It's important. Or some yogurt, like Greg eats the yogurt every day. It's good in protein. It's good fats.
Love yogurt.
permeates the house. It's great.
Well, I like when he does this.
Oh, the noise like that.
Mixing it up. Yogurt noises.
I was eating fruit for a couple days, or a couple weeks rather. No, not a couple days, but a couple weeks. But what I realized was I'm just not that into it. You know, like I'm not even hungry, and I'm eating this shit.
You know,
and so that's why I'm like maybe I'll buy some bananas and eat them, but I'm not. You know,
Yeah.
I
it's
love
too.
bananas.
Well, the berries for you though are good though because they got
they're
those
great.
really good antioxidants,
And they're good for weight loss.
They're great for weight loss, and you can eat them in the beginning of the day, or you can, if you want a snack at the end of the day, is like if you crave something sugary, you just do a little bowl of berries and you're good to go.
It gets worse for me as the day goes on though. Like I'm not hungry during the day. Really, I'm not hungry in the morning. I eat the salad. I'm only hungry right now, but we've been kind of going for a while. But like the further in the day I get, the worse it gets. Where I'm like, all right, where's the mayonnaise? Where's the beef? Where's the bacon?
Yeah, you gotta
Where's,
do-
like, and then it's like 10 o'clock at night. And I'm just shoving shit down my throat. You know,
My personal trainer, Courtney, lives over in New Zealand. You guys have met him a couple times. No, you haven't. But he remotely trains me. Sure. And by that I mean he checks in on me and goes, "Have you hurt yourself yet?" And I go, "Yes." And he goes, "Okay, well, don't do that again." But he recommends eating a lot of protein throughout the day, small amounts of
what you do.
protein, because that'll regulate your appetite.
Today you had that sad ass meal of
Yeah,
turkey.
Here's
sliced
my
turkey,
problem though. Is
Lunch meat turkey with a little bit of mayonnaise on it, and then 2 hard-boiled eggs.
that was not a great meal, and that's not a good example of what you're supposed to be doing. Here's why: because if you eat too much protein, it messes with your stomach. That's why I was immediately in the bathroom for like an hour and a half. And you guys were like, are you okay in there? And I'm like, no, I'm not.
That's kind of
hurts.
how that
Thanks,
conversation
Courtney.
went. I think it went a little bit more, hey, Nick, what's your topic for the show? And you're going, hey, who's getting Subway? I want Subway. And just be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I couldn't understand what the fuck
And then
you're saying.
Colin being like, everyone stop screaming. And it was just like, good Lord.
Because here's what I heard. Hey, Nick, Subway. I was like, I want Subway. If you guys are getting Subway, I want Subway.
Subway's so bad, man.
It's
I used
not
to
good
really
for you.
tolerate when we were really poor, when we first started working at IGN, we were in Brisbane, and there was that Subway over there. I used to really go all in on it. Yeah, it was because you could eat lunch there every day for a week and just spend $25.
Yeah, it was a good deal.
I
But
don't like that Subway.
Subway sucks.
No, yeah.
It really does. At the end of the day, it's really bad. But, like, especially because there's great chains like Quiznos and stuff like that I think like would just do it way better.
I'll tell you though.
And again, you get what you pay for.
It's
full
true.
circle.
But there's sometimes I crave like an Italian BMT sandwich from Subway. I don't know why. I just crave it. I know the bread's not that great. The meat's not that great. It's just the combination of like all of those kind of faux meat / cheeses. You know how they put them on there and everything's like the exact same size and perfect imprint? You're like, that can't be fucking real. That's not a real food.
Well, that was the thing, right? Lately, they put out something that it's all turkey or something like that.
Is it?
It's I don't know. That's something I read.
It's all turkey.
No, that
That'd be
was the
great.
thing. I'm like,
Turkey's good for you.
their Italian sandwich was supposed to be all these different meats, but it was just one meat. Really? I mean, like that's like totally something I read in passing.
I don't know. I don't believe that.
I don't know about
I
that.
don't believe that.
It's all turkey. I would be mystified if they chose turkey, one of the most expensive meats, to put as their product. I would think it would probably be chicken, like really crappy chicken. But I don't know.
I feel like Subway. My one problem with Subway as a fan of mayonnaise is I always felt they were judging me. Because I'd be like, I want this. And, can you put a lot of mayonnaise on it? And they do, and they think that's a lot of mayonnaise. And I'm like, that's not a lot of mayonnaise.
More mayonnaise.
And then they put like more on it, and they're like, and they look at me, and I'm like, that's still not an adequate amount of mayonnaise.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like they're going to judge you. If you have to ask to do more of anything, you're going to get the look of like, oh, shit.
I feel
All right.
like it's not a look of judgment. I feel like it's a look of liability. They're like, I don't know if we're allowed to give you this much.
They give me a waiver.
Sir, can you sign this piece of paper? And you're like, yes, I will get my arteries clogged. Subway had all that shit come out too about their bread, how they were putting like some sort of polymer in their bread to make it shiny. Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah, it was like
They fixed
I
that.
don't know if it was plastic or something, but it was an ingredient that supposedly didn't hurt you, but made it shiny, stuff like that. So they fixed that. I don't know. I'm not a nutritionist, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. But I see you eating salads and berries and all that stuff, and it looks really, really. I mean, I can tell the difference.
Thanks. I'm just trying to moderate my body and just take a little bit better care of myself because this all comes full circle back to the clothing thing. I blow up like a balloon. I don't fit in any of these clothes anymore.
Yeah, no, that's a problem. And I went to try on jeans, and I was like, oh, this is not. I've been trying lately to go to the gym a lot more, but I keep having these like amazing stints of 2 weeks where I'm like, I'll work out, I'll go to yoga, I'll feel good, and then I'll just be at home with my wife, and she'll look at me, and I'm like, yes, I do want goldfish, and then I'll just go get one of those giant bags of goldfish and eat the shit out of them like I did Saturday night. And then lately, for some reason, I've been onto the seaweed chips. You had these things?
Fuck. That sounds
Why?
awful.
Are they good or are they bad?
They're really good.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
I eat a whole package of them every single time.
Just
I'm a night
those
snacker.
little seaweed?
Yeah.
I love that shit.
I'm a night snacker, man. That's just what I like. If I'm sitting down watching a movie or a documentary or any show and it's past 8 o'clock, I want there to be a snack in my hand.
Yeah, I'm not
Gotta
a big
have it.
snack guy. Just don't do it. I'm a fan of warm drinks.
Oh, you like those sugary lattes.
I like lattes.
Yeah, you can't
I
drink
like
those
the
things
mochas.
anymore.
I know. Yeah, that's my thing.
Those
I
are
just need to
just
stop
terrible.
soda and stop Starbucks that isn't just coffee.
If you just went to Starbucks and all you drank was black coffee,
My thing's
now
gonna
you'd
be
be super dehydrated, but you'd lose
water,
weight.
water and coffee. That's it.
That's all I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had as a treat, I'll give myself a Diet Coke every once in a while, just because I'm trying to rid my body of aspartame. Like last night, I had like 3 Diet Cokes because we went to that place that had a minimum, and I was like, well, I guess I have to have a couple Diet Cokes. $6. Those Diet Cokes at that
Each.
comedy clubs. $6.
No, each?
Yeah,
The Cokes?
No.
because they had a drink minimum. They had a minimum in the club. We went and saw Kevin Smith last night at Cobb's Comedy Club. Nice venue. Don't get me wrong, but they were like, we have a 2-drink minimum. I was like, can I get Diet Cokes? And they're like, sure. But they're $6 a piece. And I'm like, motherfuck.
The cold cut combo.
Mm-hmm.
Can't decide which meat you want? Get them all. The cold cut combo is stacked with turkey-based meats, ham, salami, and bologna. It's topped with crisp vegetables and served with onions. I think they're saying they're all
Ham,
turkey.
That makes sense.
salami,
That-
and bologna.
There was
And they're all turkey-based.
But none of those. That's how do they get away with that?
It's on. It's on their stuff. Like that's
Where's
their,
the
like
pig at?
It's probably better for you. I don't know how they got. Why?
Cares?
Sure. I used to
They're
get.
sending me a fucking
did I
false
used to
bill
get?
of goods here.
I think I used to get like a turkey pepperoni or something like that. It was like faux pepperoni that was made of turkey. That makes sense now because it's just really dry, but it was good.
Turkey is so dry. It's
It's 'cause it's lean.
absurd.
It's
That's
got
why
no
I'm not a
fat.
huge. I like Thanksgiving, but it's everything but the turkey that I like.
That's
like,
the
just give
problem,
me
though.
you get a
everything
dry
else.
turkey, it's all over.
Oh my
It's bad
god,
news
it's all
bears.
fucked. That's where the ketchup comes into play.
The problem is
turkey.
though,
Yeah.
turkey's
Ketchup
not
not
just
fixes
gravy?
anything.
No, not great.
ketchup.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, ketchup. I put ketchup
On
on
a
everything.
turkey?
Oh yeah.
Did we just have this discussion? Did I just miss Greg say that exact same thing? That's wild to me, man. But that's a good idea.
Oh,
You
ketchup
don't
on
do the
turkey is
mayonnaise on
great.
turkey?
Sandwiches.
Sandwiches.
Yeah.
I think I'd
What
get
you- how
punched
do
in
you
the
make
face if
that
I
chi-
brought mayonnaise to the table. For like,
Really?
and it was just like, I was just dollop it in front of my family. I'd be like, what are you doing? My mayonnaise. I've always loved mayonnaise, but my overboard mayonnaise obsession only began when I was in college and could buy
You
my
could
own
just do whatever
mayonnaise.
you wanted to do. You're like,
And I was like,
you just take that jar home with you, and you're like, you're mine.
I used
Like,
to
you
go
look
to-
at like a serial killer, and that thing's never fucking seen the light of day ever again.
I used to go to Shaw's and buy which is a supermarket chain in New England, and buy just a big thing of mayonnaise, just like every week, like a thing of mayonnaise, a pound of pepper turkey, a pound of roast beef, a pound of American cheese, and like 2 loaves of Wonder Bread, and that's like all I'd eat.
That sounds great.
It was awesome. It was cheap, and that's I'd rather spend my money on beer or something like that than food. So
Yeah.
that would just feed me like
I'll be honest. There was a while where I stopped eating mayonnaise because it's pretty.
it's awful for you.
It's pretty
really
bad for you. Yeah,
It's
there's
really
not
bad.
really any nutritional value to it, really. But lately, I've just been like, I just want to put a little mayonnaise on something.
Yeah, man, mayonnaise is fucking.
Colin's rubbing off on you.
God, you are actually, because I'm like, I have this, because I'll buy this like low sodium, no nitrate turkey from Trader Joe's. It's good, but it's just not very salty. And I'm
Right.
like,
You
you
gotta
got
have
some
some
taste
salt.
to this.
Yeah.
And
What's the
lately,
point?
my wife caught me the other day. I was eating it, and I was like, I do have a jar of mayonnaise. And instead of taking the mayonnaise out and putting it on the thing, I just started rolling up the turkey and just dipping it into the jar.
I mean, we've spoken
and
many
eating-
times about how much I like to dip things into other things, and
You are a big
mayonnaise I
dipper.
think is like one of the best. Like French fries, I love it when they give you that little thing of mayonnaise. I wish it was bigger,
Oh yeah.
but you know what I'm talking about, the little white
Yeah, yeah.
thingy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my god,
Just a little
that's just
ramekin of
amazing.
it.
You start dipping them in there,
Your
and you run
aioli.
out, and you're like, oh, can I get some more? And they're like, all right.
For money, you will. If you didn't know, this is the Game Over Greggy show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather around this table. Each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny. You can get the show early by tossing us a few bucks. But if you don't have any bucks to toss us, no big deal. Head over to youtube.com/kindafunny where we post it topic by topic, day by day, until we post the entire show on Friday for free as a video and MP3. Tim,
Yes.
you were the second topic.
Second topic of the day is Snapchat. So here's the deal, guys. I figured it out.
Oh, you did finally.
I
Because this is
finally
only
understood.
none of us knew what Snapchat was
So
or how to use it.
Here's the biggest thing.
Still don't.
I say I figured it out. Didn't. That's what I figured out. You can't figure it out. It doesn't make sense. Nobody understands how Snapchat works, but that is how you know how to use Snapchat. Is when you realize this more than anyone else. Because then you can just say you do, then everyone fucking believes you.
Gotcha.
It's this magical trick that people play.
I'm torn on this whole Snapchat thing because part of me, of course, has a huge ego and just wants to be big, so that I can destroy you all. The other part of me thinks that I've been through that revolution where like all of a sudden people were selling things that weren't necessarily backed up by hard analytics, and it never leads to something good. You know, where like people are making a lot of money on Snapchat right now, right? But there's no way to track that engagement, and so you don't really know as a brand if you're actually doing anything, if that money you're spending is doing anything. And that's what used to happen. Like I've seen that happen at or you'd hear that happen rather, like websites, for instance, where like, oh, we're doing this, this, and this. You're like, I don't think you're tracking those views correctly. It's like, doesn't matter, we're charging millions of dollars for it. You're like, what the fuck? All right. It just worries me that a piece of tech like that is out there and being monetized, because like Twitter, for instance, you can see how many followers you have. There are actual metrics. You can see how many people retweet your stuff. You can see how many people are being driven from Twitter to the various links that you're sending them out to, so you can actually judge social engagement. Whereas with Snapchat, people are like, oh, you got to be big on Snapchat. You're like, what does that mean? There's no.
So here's the thing. This is what I figured
there's
out.
no way.
There is.
Okay.
There is just the right amount of analytics to make all this make sense. Now, for the people out there that don't know what the hell we're all talking about here, this is all we're talking about, like being able to monetize this. Wow, Greg's getting on Snapchat.
I already Snapchat. No, this is Kind of Funny Vids. Kind of Funny Vids has been on Snapchat and pretty big for a while.
Oh, okay.
So don't worry about it.
Yeah, see there. I mean, again, Kind of Funny Vids, one of the biggest Snapchat accounts in the world.
Oh, it's huge.
I don't know if
Actually,
you know that.
It goes The Rock, and then Kind of Funny Vids.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the WWE.
We have two friends.
We
have Harley Plays and Team Snapchat.
That's all you need.
That's all we need.
That's great. So, what's interesting about Snapchat is the fact that publicly you don't see all the numbers and the stats and the analytics and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, to people like us that have been doing the social media thing for a while, we're like, I
need numbers.
I need numbers. I don't understand this, whatever. But you need to throw all that out the window.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that I'm jumping on the Snapchat thing now, which granted, I'm late, but I'm early compared to most of the other motherfuckers like us doing this shit, because they're all like, I don't get it. I haven't been out with my friends or my friends' friends or my girlfriend's friends or whatever in like months without constantly, whenever I look over, they're on Snapchat. Like, this is what people are using now. And it's one of those things where we're on Twitter, we're doing Instagram, we're doing all that stuff, but it's like the people are on Snapchat.
This is the people's platform.
Yeah. So it's like, we got to go where they are. You know what I mean? I'm not leaving what else we're doing, but it's like seeing how engaged they are, and they actually are engaged in what they're doing, and they're constantly doing it and using it as a messaging app to their friends. And that's, I think, the power of it. It's like Facebook, where you get your friends involved in it. Twitter is a little bit more like you have conversations. That
right, but so that's what gets me this. So what you're basically saying is this is more of an app for one-to-one relationships or small group relationships, right?
Yes.
Like this is not an app for a business to, like we are, to market to an audience.
But they've now changed that. So I don't know when this happened. I'm coming in way late, and I've gotten an education from the youth.
Oh,
I went to them.
The two youths.
We
need to just hire a bunch of 10-year-olds to run this company.
And that's pretty much what's happening. So I talked to all of them, all of the 10-year-olds. I conducted surveys, and I figured stuff out. And I was like, I asked all of them, how do you use Snapchat? And they all told me. And I took all that information and I tried to figure it all out to try to make it make sense.
Of course.
Everyone uses it differently. But the thing is, they all use it the same in some key ways. And what it comes down to, I'm going to educate you guys here.
Thank you. Please
right?
let everyone out there know how to use Snapchat.
Because I want them all to know how to use Snapchat. Because I'm sure a lot of you are questioning, and I've seen a lot of people tweeting at me like,
because you cracked Instagram a long time ago. You helped Nick understand it.
Exactly.
If you want to know how to use Instagram, tweet at Tim Gettys and ask him how to use Instagram. He won't tell any of us, but he might
I'll
tell you.
Especially Snapchat. I'm telling you all right now. So, what it comes down to, the core thing of it is it's a messaging app. You can snap at people, just take a picture. What a snap is, it's a video that's up to 10 seconds long or a picture. Both of them, they have to be vertical. So it's a 16:9 aspect ratio. It's 9:16.
Dumb.
They're getting crazy. But what makes it interesting is there's all types of filters and shit you can use on it, just like any other photo app. But this one has geolocation filters. So depending on where you're at, it has custom filters for where you're at. So you can like show off to your friends, like, oh, cool, look, I'm in Golden Gate Park, or I'm freaking doing whatever the hell. Whatever. That doesn't matter. But these kids.
Not telling me on it yet.
No. The kids love it. The kids love it.
Yeah.
That's for them to message back and forth to each other. I have no interest in that.
Cool.
People message me, and once in a while I look at it and reply and stuff. But there's another thing called stories.
Yeah.
Stories is where things get real interesting. And by interesting, I mean then it just functions like anything we normally do.
Okay.
You post it, people see it.
Right.
You can have 20
Looking
your
at
stories.
Snapchat as you're doing this.
Your story is up to 24 hours.
Yeah.
So everything you post within 24 hours stays on your story.
Sure.
And then it eventually just goes away. You can see the numbers of how many people are looking at your stories. So the only analytics we don't get that I wish we got was how many people are following us or are friends with us.
Sure.
You can see all the people that do follow you, but there's no number.
Gotcha.
So
So,
I
you have
guess
to
I
count
could-
them.
I
You
could
count them
count 'em.
one by one.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm so big on Snapchat that I wouldn't be able to
Oh
do
no,
that.
it's impossible.
Yeah. So that's the big deal.
Gotcha.
If you want to, join the army and make it even bigger, follow me on Snapchat.
Kind of
Gettys.
funny vids.
Yeah, and kind of funny bits. So you do that, right? But the thing is, the stories, they're actually fun when you look at them in the day, because at the end of the day, if you watch it, if people are posting 4 or 5, 6 times a day, you get to kind of see what their day looked like. And what I like about Snapchat is you don't need to put as much thought into it as the Instagram post or the Twitter post. It's not supposed to be clever. I like to try to make them clever every once in a while because I'm that type of guy.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like watching things happen. So earlier today, Kevin was asleep on the floor.
Yeah.
We-
You
I got to
Snapchatted
sh-
that.
I did.
You
I
snapped
I
it.
shared
They call
that.
it snap or they call it Snapchatted?
I don't know about
The
that.
SC?
Greg.
You
I'm not,
SC'd it.
the 10-year-olds
You
haven't told me
snitch
that.
it.
They haven't
You
told me.
snitch it.
It's not
Snapchatting
snitching.
this right
Snitch it.
now. This is what's happening. This is being Snapchatted.
So you got to
No, we
figure
all
all that
started
stuff out.
Snapchatting.
But there's the
to
my
my
stories,
story.
right? And then you start following other people's stories, and it gets addicting. I've been checking my Snapchat constantly, just following my friends, seeing what they're up to, and all that.
So you
stuff.
can follow people.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's where the stories come into play.
I see.
Because you follow
so
people
how do
and you
I
get to
follow
see the
you
stories.
right now? I'm
You-
going to follow you right now.
You can search by username and type in Tim Gettys.
Okay.
Now, there's another thing you can do. There's this weird little ghost thing
Yeah.
with the QR code.
Yeah.
If you screenshot that QR code, you can automatically follow the people.
You can send. We can tweet that out, right?
Yes.
You tweet out your little thing, and they do it.
And so it's fun. There's this whole like virtual reality thing to it. It's cool.
Can you have virtual sex in it?
Of course.
Yes, and so that's when the messaging comes in. You go back to that, Nick.
I'm
That's when.
sold.
That's when.
So
all the
like you
dick pics
send,
come.
I screen cap that,
Yes.
and if I tweet that out,
people can just
they screen cap it. What do they do?
they'll just if they download the picture or whatever, or screen cap it, you can just add. There's a thing that says add by QR code or whatever, and you can just it automatically
Are
adds.
you
it.
just Tim Gettys? Is that what you are?
Yes.
Kind of funny vids has a score 3. What does that mean?
So the score, that's where things get really interesting.
You said it's gotten really interesting 4 times or something.
The score means absolutely nothing.
Okay.
I don't understand it. Now, here's the thing. To be fair, guys, honestly, I don't get this. I don't get this at all.
Shush,
None of this
you said
makes
you're an
sense.
expert. You're an expert.
But this number thing, the score, I think that's the amount of people that have sent you Snapchats.
Oh,
So as far as I'm concerned, that number means nothing. Like, who cares? Right?
yeah. No, I'm with you.
So that's dumb. That number's dumb.
What? Kevin's got something. Kevin's chiming in.
What's our Snapchat?
Kind of funny vids. You're stupid. Just letting you know.
It's officially stupid. Kevin is stupid. But now, there's another level to this that is my personal favorite thing about
Yeah.
Snapchat and what I actually have been using the app a lot to engage with myself in terms of content that I like. There's this thing called the Discover tab. The Discover tab is a bunch of brands. There's only like 12 brands at a time. And they're always like the top brands in the whatever given sector they're in. So BuzzFeed's
Yeah,
one
I've
of them.
seen that. Yeah.
ESPN's one of them, whatever. Cosmo Magazine's one of them. And every day there's 10 new snaps that you can go through. And it's custom content that's premium made just for Snapchat that you can watch there. And all it is just like, it's essentially animated headlines and thumbnails.
Okay.
So it's awesome. You can kind of just skip through it real fast. Some of them have like videos that can play that are up to a minute long.
BuzzFeed, man.
So there's a lot going on. And
They're smart.
BuzzFeed's killing it.
BuzzFeed is here's what BuzzFeed is. BuzzFeed's like the junk food of the internet, right? You're just like, I don't need any of this, but it's fun while it's lasting. There's an article I'm reading right now called "A Man is Creating Miniature Art for Every Day of the Year, and It's Amazing." And you know what? It is amazing.
Yeah.
God damn it, BuzzFeed, you got
They
me.
got it. They got it.
So I mean, this is cool to me though, because then this is just for sheer entertainment, right?
That-
Like
that's what I'm
I'm
saying.
just blading through BuzzFeed. But then, do they have to make this every day?
Yes.
So they have to make 18.
There's somebody who's just Snapchatting.
So, well, the people that are on the Discover tab, like that is such a lucrative position. Like you're not going to get there unless you're making real deals, right? They probably have teams
What,
working
Kevin? What did you
strictly
figure
on
out?
Snapchat.
It's kind of funny vids, but it says break.
You motherfucker.
Oh, interesting. Did you see the one I
son
just
of
put
a
up?
Ego.
It says you suck. It says Kevin sucks, and it's a photo of you, and I put little feet on your balls.
So they just added a new feature where you can put emojis on your Snapchat, so you can kind of like
So how
put
do I-
emoji faces over Nick's face and do all this stuff.
Yeah, I did it to you
This type
already.
of stuff. It's great. And then also the oldest thing for Snapchat is that you can draw on your pictures. So that's when things get real fun. A couple days ago, there was a picture of Kevin. I drew a dick on it, and
Nice.
that was great. It was
People
classic.
loved it.
But how do I follow these people?
You just search for them and then you add as a friend.
This sounds like
so I
this.
can
I
add
got to be
BuzzFeed?
honest with you. This sounds like the stupidest fucking thing. I was just reading about them because I want to know more about them as a company. and it's huge. It's huge. I mean, their numbers are huge. They make no money. They have, which is every fucking company in Silicon Valley. They have through Series C funding, so they've gotten funding like 4 times at this point, rounds of funding. So they have money. Doesn't seem like they're making any profit. Doesn't seem like this can have any profit.
It's actually really fucking fun.
No, it's stupid. I don't like it.
No,
at
this
all.
is. I mean,
stuff.
No, Snapchat. I've tried before to get on the train, and I just can't do it.
Yeah,
It just
my
seems
answer-
stupid and fleeting.
my answer to Snapchat is no. Like,
Colin, to be
No,
fair,
listen-
your answer to everything is
that's
no.
not true at all. There are social networks with utility, and those are the ones that last. Right? Facebook has been around for 12 years, which is ancient, and it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. You know, Instagram is relevant only because it's obviously its own thing, but also Facebook owns it, so it's not going anywhere. Twitter is going to probably truncate at some point. Their stock is in the toilet, but Twitter has utility. Twitter, out of all of them, has the most utility, and so I think that's why it's useful. At some point, like, what's funny about all of these different things, whether it's Vines, which are kind of, you know, or Periscope, or all these things that are either tangentially or intimately related to another social network, or something like Snapchat, which is just like fucking nonsense, but something that could theoretically be done on something that already exists, is like there's all of these existing platforms that already are dominating, and they should try to fold each other in so that there's more utility. Like, this sounds fucking stupid.
So, but
no, not
See,
no,
until Tim just described it to me, I would have agreed with you. But now I kind of get it. Not from the personal standpoint, but from the story standpoint, I can understand, like, from a place like BuzzFeed, where you're just basically taking your content and you're just delivering it to the audience in a different manner. Like, if you go through BuzzFeed, it's pretty cool. It's just it's each article, but it's done at a vertical scale, and you can just you're basically looking through top stories.
Well, so those aren't stories. Those are that's the Discover tab.
Right.
And the Discover tab, I mean, that's just like premium content. Like, you'd be searching on anything.
Sure. But for you, I just looked through yours and I was like, oh, I get it. I just seeing what Tim's doing today.
Yeah.
And it's pictures and fun, and it's for the sheer entertainment.
And so
aspect
what
of
you're
it.
saying about, like, why don't we just fold this into something else? I mean, I totally get you. I mean, I'm right there with you. And, like, I agree that, like, this is dumb. But the difference is people are engaging with it. And, like, people like dumb things.
No, I know they do, but I just and it's such a curmudgeonly, you know, predictably for me thing to say, but it's just like we need, like, Greg's just been on his phone the entire segment messing around with this thing. It's like, do we need more examples of people like just needing to be on their phone all the time? Like, put your fucking phones down.
We don't need that.
And like to me, it's just like I think Twitter. When I tell people on Twitter, I still think Twitter is exceptional in what it is, because they're still having a hard time monetizing it, and who knows what the company's going to look like. I assume that they're going to be sold at some point, but you know, it's a news feed. It is what you want it to be, and everyone's like, "Oh, I like Instagram," and I'm like, "You can put a picture on Twitter," and people are like, "Oh, I like, you know, Vine," or whatever. And I'm like, "You could put video on Twitter." Like all of this stuff can already be done,
Right.
you know, and
Yeah,
we're
but I
already
think-
there,
Well,
and it's just like, what
But
is the
the
point?
thing is, they're not already there, though. And that's the thing. I saw some stat about Twitter where it's like there was a survey of, like, hella adult males, and there's something like 90% of them are on Facebook, and like 13% are on Twitter. Mm-hmm. So it's like they're not there, you know?
I'm saying we as media consumers, I would assume most of our people are on one of these networks or whatever. Mm-hmm. I just don't understand. Like, I feel like there's too much. I guess what it comes down to is this: there's way too much vanity in all this shit. You know, like people are just fucking obsessed with themselves, and I'm sick of it. I really am. Like, I'm so fucking sick of it. You know, like it's not all like. It just bothers me so much that, like, none of these things have utility. Like, none of them are useful. It's just a way for you to be about yourself. That's it. You know, and interact with other people that are about themselves. Like, I like Twitter because it's like, oh, I'm thinking this, and here's a picture, and oh, I look at my thing, and Politico said this, and the New York Times says this, and all these kinds of. At least it's useful and it's enlightening. You know, it can be as enlightening or not as enlightening as you want it to be.
So
but
can all of
there's a
these
possibility. I don't know how valuable a picture or a 10-second video.
And that's
But
the whole
look
thing.
at the Discover tab. Like, that's the thing. It's like, it is that, but it's curated that, and it's like really, like, well presented information.
Yeah, but I feel like that's shoving a square peg into a round hole. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like looking at this, like, the fact that everything disappears is just showing you that
Yeah,
it's
that's weird.
fleeting. It doesn't
That's
matter.
really weird to me too. Because I remember when we were in Atlanta, someone recorded a video of me on this for their friend, and I'm like, "Oh, you should send it to me later." He's like, "Oh, it gets deleted after 24 hours." I'm like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck is the point of this?"
And so
Like,
that's all stupid, but that's why they're so engaged. And here's the thing I'm seeing a lot is, like, I put stuff out on other stuff, and I know the numbers that I get. I put stuff out there, the numbers are like 5 times as much. And that's just because the people are like, they want to see it, and they're finding a reason to come back every day and see what's going on and look at it. And it's entertainment at the end of the day. These people are being entertained. I'm being entertained looking at the stuff, you know? And it's
This
like,
ESPN, I'm on the Discover for ESPN. It's actually pretty sweet. Like, you know what I mean? Just if
The
you're
Discover
sitting
tab's
there
dope.
doing
That's
whatever,
actually something
seeing
that I'm
stuff.
not going
that's-
to start
I mean,
using.
highlights,
so
do
here's the
that.
reason I'm starting to support Snapchat
Right.
is one day Discover is going to be for everybody. One day I'm going to be able to do that. You know what I mean? Like that's going to be an
Maybe,
option that people
or
can do. I guarantee
can't
you
figure out how
they're
to
going to make
monetize it, and they're gonna-
profiles.
I mean, these
they're
companies have to be
monetizing it.
paying to be in the Discover tab. I have to imagine, because there's no ads being run that I'm seeing.
It's just so this society is getting boiled down into
like,
smaller
flip
and
up.
smaller bits and the smaller and smaller piece of information. It's just infuriating. Like
article. That's
we've
cool.
gotten to the point. I was just looking at Greg going through the ESPN stuff. Like we can't even sit down and watch a fucking full highlight anymore. You know, now we just need like this one home run, and that's it. And that's the news of the day is the home run in the game.
Yeah.
the 9-inning
I mean,
game.
well-
Like I don't know, man. It's just I'm frustrated for two different reasons about this. Is one, like there's too many of these things. They can't all survive.
That's my big problem.
And
There's
like
way too much shit.
and I was reading when I was on my phone, I was just reading about them, about their valuation. They're valued between 10 and 20 billion dollars. In what fucking universe, you know, is this thing worth 10 to 20 billion dollars? This is why everyone looks at Silicon Valley sometimes and they're like, is anyone making anything? Like, does anyone have anything you can hold and touch? You know, like even when Apple is going down and I mean they're fine, but like their stock today like really took a huge tumble. Twitter, which is a ubiquitous platform that people respect, is going down. Facebook obviously got fucking pummeled when their IPO came out. And like these are real companies, you know, that like have existed for a long time. And I just look at these new companies coming up and I'm like, the reason Uber is so fascinating, and Uber is the ultimate unicorn company because it's worth $50 billion and it's still private, is that's a service. They're not going anywhere. You know, they're going to take over. They're going to have their own autonomous cars one day and stuff like that. And then I look at something like Snapchat, worth between 1/5 and 2/5 as much as Uber, and that's it.
Yeah,
It's
but you have to-
pictures and videos that are deleted after 24 hours.
Yeah, it's
But the people
that
that there's
target
audience,
demographic,
yeah,
though,
the
man.
targeted demographic is engaging with
But
constantly
here's
day
how
to
you have to
day.
think about this though. It's like it's essentially, and this is what I see more and more of, right? Where 5 years ago I used to see everyone looking at their phone, and I'd be like, they're probably playing a game, right? They're playing. No, I was gonna say like Words with Friends or something like that, right? Where like they're playing an app, they're playing a game on their phone. That's just to waste time, right? It's the entertainment value of it. Now people, I think, have transitioned over to the Snapchats of this isn't necessarily where they're getting their news from. It's just fun. It's just a distraction while I'm waiting in line at Starbucks, and that's the scary thing for me.
The
is
thing
that,
for me is I feel like I have enough of the distractions.
yeah, but you are also a 35-year-old man.
Sure, very true. I'm ingrained with Twitter. I like Instagram fine.
You like all those things. You like to be able to message. This is a very, from what I can glean, kind of more of a passive experience where you're just kind of following people. It's similar to Facebook, right? Where you're going down your Facebook feed and just seeing what's going on in your friends' lives. I kind of get it now, but it's not. I mean, it's like any other social media. You can use it for information.
Are you going to try to use it now?
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to use it now. I mean,
No, so the key
what's
to-
crazy is I
would not recommend you guys using it, and I say
Hey,
that
fuck you, man. I'll
Yeah,
do
Tim
what I
wants
want.
to be all
potentially.
big.
Fuck you.
No.
Tim wants to be big on Snapchat.
No, because here's you specifically
big on Snapchat.
because
You're old.
you need to do it a lot. Like this isn't like
Yeah, I know.
Instagram or
That's the
Twitter
problem, yeah.
where it's like a couple posts a day or like a post or two a day are fine. With Snapchat, it's about 6 a day. It's about
I can do that.
throughout the day. Nick,
I just did 3
Write a
while we were
tweet.
sitting here.
yeah, I know. But
I look
like,
at your Twitter feed and I wrote all your tweets, so you might want to.
I
the
read
next thing is like you need to
plenty of tweets.
And what makes Snapchat different, just like all of them suck. Every social media sucks unless you make it good. And I think that's the thing with this is it's like you
It
need
feels
to
like-
curate and make content specifically for it, and then it's good.
It feels like Snapchat is like a step away or 2 steps away from evolving to a form that's like awesome for everybody. And that's what I see when you're talking about like the Discover tab will one day be for everybody and stuff like that. It's like that's exciting, but then why wouldn't you want to get in now and lay down the groundwork, right? And it's like when I didn't do it with Twitter or YouTube or Instagram. You know what I mean? Like I got on all those platforms late.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
I just to me it's I get, you know, we all succumb in social media to our own vanity, right? It's about your brand or whatever. You know, I hate that word, but it's about whatever it is. And so I try to use these platforms to be at least somewhat interesting, if not informative at times too, where it's like I'm really uncomfortable at the end of the day with things being about me. I don't like it, you know, and I want it to be about more than me or more than what I say. So I try to link out, you know, a political story or say something meaningful. And sometimes I'll say awful and stupid things too, to be funny or whatever, because everyone has that. And that's when you succumb to kind of the vanity of like, well, this is funny and I'm going to share it with my friends or whatever. But I feel like if social media really began with things like Friendster and LiveJournal and stuff. But if you really identify it as starting in some sort of embryonic state with Facebook, what's happened is what Facebook is today is the broadest of social media platforms, and everything's just it's a upside down pyramid. Everything's just gotten fucking funneled down into just fucking incomprehensible nonsense at this point. Like Instagram to me, I respect it, and I know people love it, and that's fine, and I'm happy about it. I'm like, what is the point? It's Twitter, but you can't say anything on it. You know what I mean? Like on Twitter, you can post
You
your
can
picture
say
and
more,
post.
but you can say more than 140 characters on Instagram.
Sure, but you have to make pictures, or people like type on their notepad and then take pictures of it and put it up or something like that. Like I see a lot of athletes do that kind of
But
stuff
you
on
can say
Instagram.
the
on
caption
Twitter,
if you
mainly.
want.
That's Twitter. Yeah, on Instagram, you can fucking write an essay and you're.
Well, I know on the comment, but I see like what
caption.
I see a lot of like people like Amy Schumer like released something a while ago and did something like that when she got in trouble. The Instagram to me is just like, okay, so like we took Facebook, and then Twitter's like, okay, we're a small say what you need to say. Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And then Instagram's like, we're taking out all the text, basically, it's pictures only.
Right.
And then Snapchat's like, okay, we're gonna have pictures and videos and we're deleting them. And so it's like, what the like to me, I know it's the thing where I'm like, I'm just getting old. And I don't I don't understand. But like to me, I want these things to have utility. If I'm gonna have this, everyone's obsessed with these fucking things.
Right.
You know? And at least I want, if I'm on there and I'm on Twitter,
Just
I'm like,
pointed to
okay,
his
maybe
phone
I'm
for everyone listening.
My phone, actually.
maybe
Don't lie. Be a journalist.
maybe I'm learning something, or I don't know. It's just to me, I'm like, I just feel like it's just too. Why don't we like? And it's not up to us. It's really up to the companies. Maybe it's a failing of these companies. You know, clearly there's a market for Snapchat. It's just like when I see like, okay, are they going to be around in 5 years? Do they have any money? Like Twitter has never made a fucking cent. You know, so like how, and they're worth way more than money. So it's like how much can you possibly make at this point? You know, before you need to start showing returns. Like, what is your burn rate and all these kinds of things? In other words, I feel like people have these great ideas, but they're becoming more and more reductive. And I really, it's the same reason I hate fucking cell phone games. I like utility and depth.
Yeah.
You know, and like we're getting further and further away from that salient point where things were being used for good, and now they're just being used like this new technology. This Snapchat, for instance, is just like, okay, now it's. Clearly, I don't use it. I don't understand. I'm not judging it in a way like where people shouldn't use it or whatever. I'm just saying like it doesn't resonate with me. And it's sad to see something like that's so promising, like Twitter, in my opinion, have to compete with something that doesn't match it on a utility basis, you know? And for me, Twitter is
competition, though. I think it's just there's just different shit to do. And what you're saying about it being the pyramid, it's like I just think that it's less that and it's more there's a bunch of shit. Do whatever you want. Like, we've hit that point where it's just like there's hella shit.
Yeah.
What are your friends doing?
Audiences are all fragmented. There is no longer when everybody was on Facebook, and that's how
Or
you could
I
talk
think
to everybody.
MySpace was the real thing. There was the first one of where it really became a who you friends with and commenting and being public about who you're friends with, essentially.
yeah.
You know, there's Friendster and there's all that stuff, but it was different.
It's so funny, MySpace, man. And I think this is what I react to too, Colin, because I'm of both worlds on this one too. Is that part of me is like, yeah, we are just being old, and that younger kids are just going to be picking up these apps as they roll out, and there's going to be something after Snapchat that even those kids aren't going to get.
In like 3 months,
In
there
3
will
or
be.
4 months, or maybe a year, something else is going to be big, and the people that are on Snapchat are like, that's dumb. I don't know what the hell that thing is, and then all the new kids are going to be like, Snapchat's stupid. That's for like 18-year-olds. That's dumb. I'm 13. I use googie goo goo. You know, it's not even going to be like a word you can say, because words that you can say aren't cool. Okay, this word has to be inaudible. You can't even pronounce the fucking thing. But at the same time, you know, these. I think I lost my goddamn train of thought again. I'm dying here. I'm dying. Facebook for me has had sort of a resurgence where I moved away from that platform for a very long time because, like you're talking about, I still look at that platform as people use it the exact same way they use Snapchat, right? Where it's just a bunch of people posting a bunch of stuff about their lives, and sometimes people care and sometimes people don't. And it's more for entertainment value than it is for anything else, really. But some people use it for news and some people use it for entertainment. Recently, though, I've been caught every single time I open my fucking Facebook app. I'm there for like 20 minutes, and it's because of Facebook video. It's because of these, and I'm like, and I started looking at the view counts because they're smart. They put just the view count, no like, dislike bullshit. It's just views. 21 million views on the last one I watched, 13 million views on the next one. And I'm watching half the videos before I realize there's fucking sound. I can click on the thing and I can actually hear what they're saying. I'm like, oh, that's pretty fascinating.
Well, that's about knowing where you're putting stuff, because so many of these videos, they're designed the content around not needing sound because it autoplays without the sound in the beginning.
Smart.
So they catch you, and then it's like, oh, cool. So that's why there's a lot of subtitles and there's a lot of like things going on.
I'm telling you right now, I think Facebook is I think they've got something with Facebook video. I think they know they have something with Facebook video, and they're being smart right now by getting everyone addicted to it before they try to heavily monetize it. But I think that's going to be huge.
Yeah, they're
They
killing
got a
us
lot
too.
they need to figure out with that shit. But
Yeah, but how hard is it, right? You click on the video, you get an ad. Boom,
no, but they need to figure
done.
out the whole. They need a content ID system.
They need a
'cause right
content
now
ID,
it's
and they
like-
need to. I don't. Can you search Facebook video?
No, I mean that's
That's
the
the
thing. They
problem.
need a hub and they need a content ID system because right now all those 21 million view videos are stolen things from other people.
Oh, that was a big. That's a big issue right now, especially on other platforms. Any platform really that's not YouTube.
Yeah.
There was a couple of week and a half ago. This guy named this is his name.
Oh, Fat
The
Jew.
Fat Jew.
Yeah, the Fat Jewish or the Fat Jew, I think is his name. He's just the Fat Jewish on Instagram. Got pinched for stealing all of his stuff.
He's been getting yelled at about that forever.
It
Yeah, him
finally
and that
came-
guy fuck Jerry too.
Yeah, I mean that's and that's one of those things where I follow those guys, and I
You're
know
part of the problem.
better than to do that, but I just didn't realize that I assumed he just had a small team of people working for him that were going out and doing these memes every day.
Really?
I mean, it didn't occur to me.
Tim,
Like,
he's
I
got a
would
very
look-
old school sense of thinking over
No,
here.
but,
Nick's
like, I
oh,
would-
he's got a content creation.
It doesn't. It wouldn't occur to me that someone would form a lucrative business stealing other people's images.
Wow.
And it didn't occur to me because I would have thought that person would have been caught a long time ago with the way
Yeah.
the internet polices itself. Because the internet's like, if you do something wrong, you're found out immediately, right? And I heard about that a long time ago, and it wasn't until like 6 months later where I heard about it again, but this time on like big podcasts and big news media outlets. That's shocking to me. What are you doing over there? You kissing the dog?
No, I'm gonna stare down with him.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, that's a huge deal. But Facebook, I think, is still going to remain a pretty dominant platform. Snapchat, I'm sure it'll be around. I'm surprised that Instagram's still around. To be honest, I'm surprised
Really?
that Vine's still a thing. I'm surprised that any of these things are.
But see, that's the
they
thing. We're all
catch-
surprised there are things because we don't
'cause
use
we
them
are
the way
Twitter.
we use
Yeah,
Twitter.
we are the Twitter and
know?
YouTube generation,
Yeah,
right?
because the people that are into Instagram, it's like, oh my god, they're getting so many views, so much engagement, so much money to be made there. There's so much happening there, so much quality too for if they're doing that,
But that's the thing, like just looking through that Discover tab, and I'm like, I get this now. This is just a different way to view content, right? For ESPN, for the 5 seconds I spent with BuzzFeed,
It's
where I'm looking at
reductive
it.
though, man.
It is and it's not, right? It is.
But
It is
doesn't need to be,
actually.
'cause
If you look through that
those
story,
aren't short videos.
If you look through the story, those articles are actually a phenomenal. That's actually a
full
pretty cool
articles.
way to display an article. So instead of blading this way, you're just going up and you're just reading the article like this, which is.
I agree with you
awesome.
that it's
Weird.
reductive, but I think it's a great entry point. I don't watch ESPN like you do on a daily basis, right? I go there for shows I want to see for certain things, right? But I would sit there and like, oh, these are great highlights that are short, and like I'm on the bus, I'm waiting for the train. Yeah, I'd page through it when I'm done. If
Yeah.
I could get into my rotation of Reddit and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and see what's happening on the page, and then over to the Kind of Funny forums, and then you know what I mean.
It's just the ADDization of the internet.
That's
and
a big
and
deal.
as someone who creates content and used to write and do all this kinds and still writes and we'll do all those things. I just hate that we were talking about Twitter's character count. I always thought that was actually really novel because it's like say what you need to say.
Yeah.
And I was like
Be
and I-
succinct.
exactly, and I always love that when someone takes a picture on Instagram and then I go on their Twitter and it's on their Twitter and then I go to Facebook and it's on their Facebook. It's like what is the point of all this? Like what is the point of this? At the end of the day, again, these are vanity things and we all have them out there as our personal brands. But I just feel like we have to kind of dig down and think about the things that are most useful to us as people and also the most useful to our audience out there. And I just feel like, yeah, it's just getting so reductive now that it's actually these kinds of things are actually annoy me. Like where I'm like this,
I
like
mean-
this is too much for old man Colin to handle.
I was gonna say I can't imagine Colin being
Yeah.
annoyed by something the kids are
I'll
doing.
say this though, but I bet you have those tendencies too, right? And I see it because when we all go out to dinner, we have to remind ourselves to put our phones down. And the other day,
Well, I'm always reading on my phone. I'm not saying that that's wrong.
Oh, no,
but I'm reading.
right, sure, but there's, but you are, you can't in the same breath judge other people for being addicted to this because they're not reading an article. They are finding that news some other way. Maybe that's Snapchat. Maybe someone's talking about something, but it's bite-sized. Now, granted, it's not the same thing, and I know that. And I do worry, even in myself, that those ADD tendencies are so rabid that it actually starts to encroach on my relationship with my wife. She'll actually have to tell me, we'll be in a line at Starbucks. She'll be mid-sentence. And the second I get in line, my brain goes, trigger, phone. I don't want to be in this situation right now. This is stupid. I'm getting frustrated. And I just want to look at something dumb or I'm going to yell at a manager. Right? And my wife
Can I
literally
speak to your fucking manager?
I actually didn't
Throw
say
your coffee on the
I was
ground.
actually very.
Is everything
Can I
okay?
please speak to your manager? And she was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Go get your fucking manager." My wife will she'll like not
Yeah.
Palm your phone.
she'll just be like, hey,
Slap it on the ground.
See, I
I'm
hate
here.
that
I'm a
shit,
real
though.
person. Just
I mean,
talk to me.
This is something I'm on the opposite end of this. Here's the thing. First off, I'm not a quality human being. I know that. Second off, everything Colin's saying, I agree with completely. You should be putting quality stuff out there and whatever. Third off, I'm the lowest common denominator. I understand that. So I'm just trying to like get to everybody that wants to get to my lowest common denominator bullshit. You know what I mean? So that's why
Some fucking hard
it's
truths coming
perfect
from
for me.
Timmy.
It just is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not that funny. I don't have
You're kinda
these great things to say, and like I'm not, you know what? I'm not
Yeah, but
writing
you do, but
articles
that's-
about how to change people's lives.
that's not
I
true,
just want
like-
to take pictures of Kevin sleeping on the floor because I think it's funny. So I want to put that out to them. Having said that, it's like,
but in the
this
same
stuff is
breath
what we
that
do.
you're also a person that put 40 hours into a 100 pence music video because
No.
it was fun, and and I
Exactly.
would argue that piece of content errs more on the side of art than it does on the side of just
I wouldn't
stupid
know. It's so
entertainment.
useless. It's like, why
No,
was
it's
that
not.
made?
It's
that
not
was made
useless.
for a lot of people to have 2 minutes of fun with.
Sure, but
Was there
it
was 2
had
minutes and
a
10
level
seconds.
of depth to it that you had to bring to it to really fully appreciate it, which I think a lot of people did, right? Whereas a lot of times, especially even on Twitter, I mean, I'll just see stuff where I'm like, did you really need to like tweet that out? Like, or on Instagram, I'm like, did I need to see a picture of your hand doing nothing? Like, I like there's just
Hey,
all these.
a lot of
Hey,
people like my hand portraits.
you know
But
what
I
I
mean,
mean?
that's my
Like,
thing is it's like I do like to put thought into all of the content that I put out there.
Right.
Whether it's Instagram or Snapchat or Twitter. I'm not saying I'm like
Michelangelo.
spending hours and hours
Sure.
coming up with the perfect Instagram post or selfie. Like
right.
when I post a selfie, people like it. Cool. I'll try to come up with a funny caption. I'll give you that. I never just post something. I'm never just like, oh, I have to do this. Here's a fucking selfie.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, I think that to me, I'm not talking about necessarily like. First of all, I don't think that the social media a person uses as anything to do with their intelligence or who they are. I think it's there's people way smarter than me that use Snapchat.
Hello.
The point is that what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of overlap between all of these things of what they do, and it seems to me the most obvious thing is to go to the places where you can do the most. And so that's a confusing thing to me. But I will say this about society: we in 2015 we're losing nuance, and we're losing the ability to talk rationally, and we're becoming very vitriolic towards each other and in terms of your groups, whether it's politics or sports, whatever it is. There's no room for discussion, and there's no room for thought out things anymore, and we need that stuff in society. But you look around you at the tools that are being made, and Snapchat's a tool just like any other one, just like a hammer. It's just a digital tool, and everything's going in the exact opposite direction we need it to go into. And everyone's minds are going in the exact opposite direction we need them to go into. And to me, that's just problematic. It doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. It doesn't mean that you are bad or good if you use Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or whatever. I'm just noticing when everyone's like, people come up to me like, why aren't you on Instagram? And I'm like, because I'm on Twitter. Like, what is the fucking point? And it's not, at the end of the day, I just want everything to crumble that's on these social media ones, except for the ones that are really important. And the market will dictate whether this is important or not. Like I said, between a $10 and $20 billion valuation, 4 rounds of funding, could not possibly in a million years be profitable. I won't believe that for a second.
But you have to think, you look at Twitter, we would have said the same thing. We're like, we've been saying they're not profitable for like 5 years.
They've never been profitable.
But they're still around. Right?
Yeah,
And
they
people
are because
still
they have a
funding
ton
it.
of money.
Yeah, it's crazy though. I mean, that's my
And they've
thing
also
is
monetized.
The market will dictate that. At a certain point, there will be a breaking point where some of these will hopefully go away, but it freaking hasn't happened yet,
No,
man.
but it
We got,
has.
like
it
90
has.
apps.
We've seen so many things come out and go away. Ello, right?
Meerkat.
And Meerkat, which is like, at this point, just a celebrity vanity thing. That's just because the celebrities have been bought out over Periscope. And so it's like there's a handful of real celebrities doing that shit. Besides that, no one uses Meerkat. And it's like there's all these other ones. Like, I don't even name them anymore. It's like,
No, I mean-
what's the other one? Yo?
Medium,
Yo's gone.
Medium is one of them too.
Is
right?
Ocho still kicking?
Does anyone use Medium?
I don't know. But like these motherfuckers.
I think Twitter owns Medium.
They do. It's that Medium is, and this is the problem. Is Medium was supposed to be what Twitter. It was supposed to be the mid-level Medium version of Twitter, right? Where you could write basically blogs. I mean, it's like Tumblr. You just write. Actually, what would it be? Well, I guess it's like a Tumblr blog where you just write blogs, right, and like tweet them out and stuff like that. And I don't think it picked up just because it's hard.
Yeah,
like
it's
a lot of people just want to consume. And this is the other big issue I have is there's just so much more information out there than there used to be available to us. So when we were kids, it was like, yeah, you read the entire article because there was only 5 articles in the magazine, and that's the only magazine you had access to. Now, when I log onto Twitter, I feel this like, and I'm always failing at this, but I feel this urgency to keep up with you guys specifically because you're always consuming stuff and you always seem to know shit before I do. And I'm like, fuck, I gotta like, I'm always constantly like reading and trying to get those headlines and just like put them in my brain so that if you know they pop out, oh well, man, Nick doesn't understand what a car is. Well, let's put him in it and let's drive him around the block. Maybe he won't freak out. And I feel like maybe people don't realize it, or maybe they do, but we're all keeping up with the Joneses on that. Like we're all trying to keep up with this ridiculously impossible pace, and it is leading to that sort of brain drain, or not brain drain, but it's leading to that sort of that ADD over hyper fucking like I gotta know everything, but really not really invest in anything mentality.
Yeah, I mean, and what? Again, it's me getting old. It's me being not even curmudgeonly, but just being like I just hate that. I want us to have better conversations. I want us to know more. I want us to have deeper understanding. I want us to be able to interact with each other in meaningful ways. The thing about Twitter, and it could be said about all these things, that it's totally useful if I never used it. Like if I just never posted at all, it would be totally just as useful to me. And I agree with you. Like some people, like I follow even a couple of people on Twitter tweet way too fucking much. You know, like to me, you have to be like more. It's not Greg. To be more, you have to be more. Greg tweets a lot, but you have to be more selective about what you say and put out there. That's the other thing I'm saying is that even on things where it's like, be careful with what you say. And we're not all careful. I get in trouble with some of the things I say, but it's like, here's your character count and stuff, and then people just say something like every half an hour, and I'm like, that's not even really the point either, you know? But maybe it's just that it's just getting away from me. Maybe I have my own idea of what these things should be. And again, I really do think it's just a generational gap. I do believe that. I'm 30 years old, and I just feel like, you know, I found what's useful to me. I'm set in my ways, and younger people aren't. They're more malleable and they're more mobile, and they grew up in different times. They grew up with these things attached to their fucking hands, and
it's not even that though. It's that when you're young, you just everything's new. We all went through this. We don't remember it because we're all adults now, and we search for more depth in everything that we do, with the exception, I guess, of Tim, who just wants everything to be just right at water level. But like, remember when we all used to think that cartoons were amazing, right? You go back and watch G.I. Joe now, you're like, oh, this is not as good as I remember it being, because when you were a kid, you just didn't care. You're like, it's colors and fun, and like, I don't really have to think about anything. And it is so I'm agreeing with you. It is generational. It's very generational in that I guarantee that the kids, even though they're slightly more ADD than we are right now, growing up with Snapchat, will eventually want something a little bit more meaningful as they progress.
I mean, it's like when we were younger and got like the demo discs for PlayStation games, and you played all of them. Just because they were there. You're like, oh shit, I'm gonna do this. It's
right,
like,
right.
Why the fuck did I play the 102 Dalmatians game demo?
Well, I think we know
5 times.
why you did.
Why did I? No.
You do.
I
love
draw the
them
line
Disney
there.
messages.
But like that shit was garbage. But it's like I enjoyed it then because it was just like there was just more and more and more. You know,
Sure.
it's like little
But
kids
see,
are
for
like
you
that.
now, and see, this is what I would argue for you now, though, is that you don't use Snapchat, Twitter, or Instagram because you are one of those people, whether you know it or not. You use those because you enjoy the science and the addictive nature of them, and
100%.
how we can take that into our business, which is
Yes.
a very, very adult thing to do.
So I get that, and like that
It's
is
very
what
deep,
I love about
adult,
because I
like,
love
very serious
I
thing to
love
do.
playing with it and seeing how like what
You're
I
all
change
Tim's
can make the
pawns.
people enjoy it more. And
Right.
it's like that's why to me Snapchat's the best, because you take all the analytics out of it. There's just one analytic. You just see how many people saw each image. You don't get to see how many people follow you. You don't get to see all this stuff. I just get to see what images do I post that can get the best response. And I've seen the numbers over the last like week just go up day by day to where they're at now. And I'm like, cool. And it's really interesting to me. But I agree with you so much that like I don't get Snapchat and I hate it. And I keep joking about it, acting like I get it. But it's like I don't. I totally don't. But I see that so many people that I like and like people that I don't know, but they're like my girlfriend's younger sister. Her and all of her friends, that's all that they do. And I'm just like, and it's not even just like a girl thing too, because it's like all of their boyfriends and all that stuff too. It's like people are like enjoying this and engaging with it, and it's like I want to give them something to enjoy. If they're on this platform enjoying stuff, I want them to laugh at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
That's
think
our
you're,
job. That's our business.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right, just in the sense that it's good to have someone like you know, around to that's a little younger and a little more or a little more in tune to what's going on. Because I don't want people to conflate like. I'm not trying to conflate the usefulness of the platform, which I don't think is very useful compared to other platforms, with the people that use it or whatever. Which I think if you find entertainment, I find entertainment of fucking random ass shit too. It's just more of like it's like I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. You know, that's kind of the way it is, and
Sure.
it's not about the people that use it. It's about the trend. It's just about the trend. You know, everything's a meme. Everything's a fucking 10-second audio or video clip.
Sure.
And it's like we have real fucking issues to deal with, and we need time
Well,
and like space
that's
to
what
deal
I'm
with
saying,
these
though.
issues.
And one of the things that really makes me like, for every time I think about social media, it gives me the anxiety of thinking like, oh God, we're raising generations of people that just have zero patience and don't really want to ever take on real issues. But then you look at the current state of podcasting, and podcasting, I would argue, is probably more popular than it's ever been before, right? Maybe it's because we're immersed in it, but I honestly believe that the more people are seeing that opposite end of the spectrum, they're coming around to wanting to listen to more in-depth intellectual discussions into things, or maybe just
But I
longer
mean,
form
isn't the
things.
argument that this has always been the case? And like what you're talking about with the shorter thing, it was something you yelled at your TV or to your wife, and that was the end of it. Now we can publicly share all of that, and that's the thing. I don't think that it's necessarily I always love the image where it's like it's the two images on top, and it's the one where it's the everybody on their phone on the bus, and they're like, "Don't you remember when we used to talk to each other?" And the one below it is everyone in like the 30s on the train with the paper, not talking to each other. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's just now you can instantly share it with everyone, and I feel like that's what we're talking about too right now, being outsiders with Snapchat, and maybe not so much for you as you get involved, but for
Tim's huge on
sure
Snapchat.
us, he's huge on
so
it.
big.
Huge.
It's crazy.
It's the fact that I look at your feed and it's Kevin sprawled out and it's this is what hell looks like at the post office. And I'm like, yeah, these are cool. I'd love to see these as like, Instagram posts that I could catch up on later, but that's how I want to enjoy the content. Not to mention though that I feel like there's people who are using it's like Vine is a better example because I have a better handle on that. There's so many people who just make shitty little vines that are just them talking to their kids or whatever. And then then there are the people who are making the careers on Vine and produced content and doing this. And I feel like there's those stratospheres, those tiers, there's these different like levels of what you're doing, and I assume it's the same thing with Snapchat.
Yes.
Where there's people fucking taking photos of Kevin sleeping on my floor, but then there are people making the ESPN content where I'm like, I could actually see where there'd be value in that for me or whatever.
Yeah, that's really what it is. And I just think that like we're at a point now where there's apps for everything, and our life is apps. Apps. And it's like not just short stuff, it's long stuff too. Like you bring up the podcast. It's like I don't think any of it gets in the way of the other things. There's just a lot of it. Take what you want, don't do the other things, and that's it.
I agree, but also disagree. I think that just inherently, the more things that there are, they definitely take away. I mean, there's only so much time and space and mind share and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that's wrong because the market is going to dictate what wins. It's clearly Snapchat's winning. I'm never going to get in the way of what the market wants in the sense of like the market polices itself. It does. Like it just works every time. So, and I want to be clear. Like I'm not saying like, oh, Snapchat's the reason that we're not discussing the major political and economic problems we're having right now. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is the trend is getting us all of our minds away from dealing with things in a robust sort of way. It all is additive towards this trend. And you're right in the sense that like, yeah, the more things change, the more things stay the same, right? Like that's true, but it is different now. It's definitely different now.
Well,
things are getting stupider. Things are getting shorter. Things are getting snappier, and I don't necessarily think that is a good thing.
I think that's been there the entire time. That undercurrent has been there the entire time in terms of what people want, and this goes back to your market. Now there's all these ways to get it, whether it's BuzzFeed, us on YouTube, whether it's Vine, whatever. You can find that stupid content and share it so it looks like that's all people are doing. I still, like you always want this super activated populace that's super well informed, up on issues, wants to go beat the door down for politics and stuff like that. And that just doesn't exist. And I don't think it's ever really, not ever, don't get me wrong, but like in my lifetime, in any lifetime before the internet, I don't think that was happening either. I don't think like when my parents were involved with the local Democratic Party or whatever, right, and we were in parades and shit, I don't think that was common for every household where they were doing that, and the kids were carrying it more or less.
No, I mean politics generally. I mean it's always been something that some people have been disengaged with, except for times the revolution and all that kind of stuff. But that's the point, is that we have all of these great tools and all this great technology and every excuse to be involved. And yet we would rather Snapchat our friends a 10-second silly video instead of just utilizing that technology and that time to do something more useful.
So here's the thing with me as a perfect example of this.
Damn, I have to pee. This is a good one, though.
Had BuzzFeed and Snapchat, whatever, things like this not existed, I guarantee that I would be 100% less politically invested than I am now. Having said that, I'm not that politically invested.
Right.
But when things happen, I now know about them because they're being delivered to me as headlines and stuff. So I'm at least aware of it. And I will tell you, those things have got me. It's like clickbait in a good way, where I'm like, I should know about this. So I look into it. I'll read the article. I would have never read that article before. I would have never watched the news that way. But now, because it's being delivered to me in this way of like, you should know about this next to your 24 freaking Superman things to put on a table, you know? I'm like, shit, I should probably know about this. When it says breaking news or whatever, I'm like, fuck, like, everyone else needs to know about this. I should too. And like, I feel like Snapchat does the same thing. Like with the Discover tab, it'll be like, shit you need to know. And it's like, I will watch it because I want to know the things I need to know. And it's like, if it's important stuff, that's good. You know, whether it's fucking bullshit or real shit, it's like, if I need to know it and they're telling me I do and I trust them, then we're good.
Well, that's me. I mean, I think I agree with you, which is why I think that I acknowledge that I'm kind of in just a dying minority of people that just want to use this stuff to be better. You know, like we talk about money in politics. I've talked about it many times. Like everyone's like, there's too much money in politics and Citizens United, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, Citizens United's all fucked up, but the only reason money in politics matters is because you don't know anything about politics. You don't pay attention. That's your problem. You know, like money's not buying elections for me. Yeah. So I don't, you know, there's, in other words, like all of these, so many problems can be just overcome with a little more engagement.
Sure.
But I acknowledge that I'm not winning this battle. I'm losing the battle every day, and I accept that.
I feel like the battle you're losing and the point I'm trying to make has nothing to do with the technology. I think that's just people.
No, I think you might be right, but you have to understand that it's like the same thing with like Gutenberg and the printing press. When you see this amazing technology, the first thing you think about is like, what can it be used to be positive? You know, to make and you know, when Gutenberg was publishing the Bible and all of this great science, well, eventually they were publishing fucking pulp novels and stuff like that. So I mean, it's not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with pulp novels.
I think that you
Gutenberg
are a perfect example of
shut up, I'll kill you.
what I'm looking at of like you get me engaged. You know, now granted, I get to sit at this table every week with you and talk to you about stuff. And when I bring up Snapchat topics, then you bring up topics of shit that actually matters, and then we talk about it, and I learn something. You know, but what do I boil that down to? A stupid thumbnail and headline that other people are going to watch. And I try to think, how am I going to get the most people to care about this thing that I would have never clicked on, you know? But then they click on it, and then they fucking learn some shit.
No, I know you're right. You're absolutely right. And I that's what I'm saying is that like I know I feel, I'm trying to be honest with the way I feel, also knowing that it's both counterintuitive to what, you know, to what the internet really has become, and it has been for 20 years, and also what we do, and also some of my own tendencies, you know? That's why I said like Twitter is all about vanity to a lot of people, and we all succumb to that. It's just I just get, you know, I just hate that the there's an ant on me. Shocking. I just wish we were just cumulatively better. I just wish that we were like wanted depth, and we don't. And that's I'm still here, and I'm speaking for those of you that like the long form article and all that kind of stuff. But I understand that like it's just not what we do anymore, and I get that. But maybe it's just, so maybe I'm just pining for a dying kind of day and a dying kind of
bygone era.
And again, I understand this is such a deep conversation because everyone's like, Snapchat's not going to solve the political crisis, and I'm like, of course it's not. It's just indicative of a mindset.
I just think I don't think that it's a this or that, and like for me, it's not that you stand for the long form and I don't, because I do. I love that. You know, I love polished videos that are 15-minute. Like YouTube videos, which for YouTube that's a long time, or whatever these podcasts are. Not to say that this is like the shining example of
it doesn't get any better than this
quality, but
this
like,
is the Gutenberg.
Comic Book Girl 19 is a perfect example. She makes hour-long videos that are so in depth about Game of Thrones or about X-Men or about whatever, awesome. And it's like those are long-form things that a lot of work is put into, and there's like actual quality there. She makes all these really, really salient points about why those stories are important, not just from like a storyline perspective, but what it means for history, like an actual real life, and like why certain characters are the way they are and who they're based off and all this stuff. And it's so fascinating. And is that more valuable than a Snapchat? Hell yes, you know? But Snapchat has its place. And I just think that it's like, I'm a fan of both things, you know? Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You know what came to mind for me, Greg, was Red Zone Channel. Remember when Red Zone Channel, for people that don't know, is a channel.
Wait, hold on, Nick. Do you know what Red Zone Channel is? Please give me a guess of what Red Zone Channel is.
Oh my God, it was a competitor in the late '90s to the Playboy channel. Remember that the channel you would always see? It was like you would be scrolling down your TV guide, the channel, and it would say like
Naughty Nurses,
Hoosiers was on, yeah, and then like The Sopranos was on, and then House Bunnies 19. Bunnies between each other or whatever it was, and then there was the Red Zone, and the Red Zone had
good try.
It was seen as the dirtier of
Tim,
the two.
do you know?
No.
Okay. Do you want to guess? It's funnier when Nick tries to
I'm assuming the guess of it is the it's a series about the HR violations, about the red zone on somebody.
Nice.
Where you are and are not allowed to touch someone.
Yeah.
Kevin, can you give us a quick red
No,
zone
don't
rundown?
do it, Kevin. Keep playing on your phone.
Kevin's our new
your
Your
playing on your
nonsense,
gigantic
your
phone,
nonsense
Kevin.
phone.
Did you know that in real companies they just elect an HR department? You don't
All
hire
right.
someone, you just elect them.
Call and go.
So the Red Zone channel is something that came out some time ago. It's NFL sanctioned channel that only airs for, let me think, something like 70 hours a year. And it's just, otherwise you just go and it's off. And it's $7.85 in San Francisco. And it's a channel that Mike Mitchell, when he lived here in 2011, introduced me to. He's like, because I'd sit down and I watch entire football games, and this is just an example of where I'm coming from, because it's everywhere. Like, it's not just in things that matter. Football doesn't matter. I love it, but it doesn't matter. I sit down and watch an entire game from beginning to end, whatever, Raiders, Niners, Jets, whatever it is, whatever's on TV. And he's like, dude, you don't have to do that. Just go to the Red Zone channel, and it'll be all of the games. And when they get into the red zone being 20 yards from the end zone, they'll just switch to that game. And I'm like, but don't you want to know how they got to the red zone? And they're like, no, I just want to see them score. And I'm like, but there's all of this other shit that happened in the middle of the game before they got into the red zone. So I guess I'm using that example as like it's happening everywhere. Like Red Zone channel exists so you can just watch touchdowns. You don't even have to watch the football game anymore. Now you just watch touchdowns. And it's like, and I'm like, that's exciting and that's fun and it's useful. It's very useful tool, especially if you're in fantasy football. But it's just another thing where I'm like, huh. Like, don't you just want to watch a game? Like, I feel weird jumping into this third quarter of this game. I have no context for how they got here, but that doesn't matter to a lot of people anymore. They just want to see the fucking score.
Well, it's because even there, you're on the outsides, right? Because I love watching the Bears start to finish, right? But any other game, I'm like, no, I'd rather play games. I'd rather do something else, blah, blah, blah. But like when it's just, here are these like, epic moments. Here's when it all really comes down to it and matters, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, because it is very exciting. I've caught myself on many a Sunday watching the Red Zone channel. But I'm like,
was it about two sisters who didn't know they had
We're
no
gonna put the
attraction
mic
to
here.
each other?
We're gonna put the mic right here. You're gonna sit right there.
But it's just another example of like everything's funneling down that direction where it's like before we know we'll probably have something like that for hockey and something like that for baseball or whatever.
Hockey's
drove
never
up
been
in his
popular
hockey
enough
won't
for
get it,
that.
I don't
No,
think.
He
hockey's
drove
never
up in
been
his
popular.
Maserati and they had to watch the Maserati for
I
him,
said,
but they were only
please leave the microphone right here. That's all you have to do. Just leave it. And
So-
we'll take care of the show from here. Don't worry.
So I don't know. I don't want to sound like down or curmudgeonly about it, even though I know I do. It's just disappointing, Like, and I understand that it's just me projecting my own shit onto everything that's happening. It's absolutely the case. It's absolutely the case. People are listening to this right now being like, what are you talking about? Like, it's fine. It's going to be okay. And of course it's going to be okay. But it probably won't be
Till
okay.
the
If
EMP
you saw
happens.
the Dow Jones today, it's probably not going to be okay. But
Which I learned about on Twitter.
yeah, exactly. And that's why Twitter has utility.
You and I use Twitter in the same way of a newsfeed, news source.
So I don't know. It's cool. I'm glad you understand Snapchat. One of us has to understand Snapchat.
I mean, I'm a professional.
The gentleman in Atlanta that's introduced me to Snapchat for the first time, and I didn't understand what I was doing. I couldn't believe the videos were gone. This is the thing that people are using. I was shocked when I Googled them and looked at their corporate history and stuff. I was impressed. Like they were saying an ad placed in a video on Snapchat can be seen between 0.5 and 1 million times a day. And that people use it X amount of time, and that engagement's huge for people that use it, like you were saying. So there's clearly something to it. But, I desire deep substance.
You do love deep substance. I feel like that topic breaks in half. We went from Snapchat and then to the fragmentation of social media and what it's doing to us.
How long have we been talking? I don't feel like we've been talking
An
that
hour
long.
and 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like that one
Alright,
we
cool.
got that
We'll do
we
that.
break that one in half
Yeah.
because we're at the end. So that means Nick,
Yes.
you get to take us home.
Yes.
Yes, brother.
Yes. My topic comes from the good people over on Patreon.
Oh, patreon.com/kindafunny.
Yeah.
Where you get the shows early and of course support us at a tier that then gets your topic read on the show.
we should actually probably thank all of them.
Oh, there it is! Thank
Thank
you for
you
all
so
your
much.
support, ladies and gentlemen, in the month
I'm
of
casting
July.
a spell. I'm casting a spell on it.
Whoa.
August.
Kevin,
Wait, no, they support in July.
just sit there and look pretty.
Maybe
I
it's
got this
August
from
now.
here, all right?
I'm gonna pee.
You're being real. Why is everyone got to pee?
Because they drank so much water. Whoa, what the hell was that? That was a weird ass dance. Are you gonna be able to hear Nick's topic from
Make
there?
sure to Snapchat your pee, Tim.
You walked right through the special banner. Kevin, when he walks through the special banner, please animate it breaking in half and exploding. And I want the letters and words stumbling out into the screen.
Make anagrams with them.
Now, Greg, you went through
Have all the letters floating around us right now.
in anagram form, so make sure that's good. Now,
Yeah.
Greg, you pulled these topics from Patreon,
Sure did.
and then you let me pick which one that I wanted most.
Right.
Were they all from Rhonda?
Yeah, today was going to
Okay.
be the Rhonda episode.
The
But
Rhonda Strong
Rhonda,
episode.
I
Got
will
it.
use your topic next week, and Nick will use because we're going to do 2 Rhonda topics.
Yeah, all great episode, all great topics, by the way. But the one that I picked out of the 2 was Greg. Tim, can you hear me?
I hear a tinkle noise.
I can hear him peeing.
Do you want to just fill time while he does it? Or you want to do it?
No, it's fine. I'll catch him up when he comes
What is
back.
what is the topic?
The topic is, what was the 90s like for you? What shows were your favorite? Did you steal a catchphrase from any show and use it all the time? I'll give you an example. Did I do that?
Family Matters. Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, circle.
Did you use rollerblades instead of a bike? What was your favorite 90s clothing? Anything that was you in the 90s, period. P.S. The Cold Cut episode may be the lowest in numbers, but from a person from the East Coast living in Seattle, it hit so close to home and is one of my favorite. Rhonda Strong. Excuse me.
Rhonda Strong, thank you for your topic.
So, Tim, the topic was, what were the 90s like for you? Did you steal any catchphrases? What shows did you watch?
You came of age in the 90s.
Yes.
That was your time.
Yeah, the 90s is an interesting thing for me because I'm definitely, I feel like I'm a 90s kid,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was born in 1989. So really, my time, like what I count like my growing up being is, and I feel like a lot of people that were born around my time say they're 90s kids, but it's really more like 95 to 2005.
Jesus.
Yeah,
That's
because when
the,
you were like 0 to 5, you don't know
that
shit.
doesn't mean
Yeah, yeah,
anything.
yeah.
So
You're being
90,
walked around
95
and
to
feeding you.
2005, that was me, going from being like kindergarten to mid high school.
So cognizance.
Yeah, when you were cognizant, when you
Yeah.
when you understood what it was to wipe your own ass and
to
whether or not
actually
you were doing a good job.
indulge in all of
Right.
these different
Ass wipes.
things. So there's a ton of stuff for me that like even if it happened in the 90s, it doesn't count for me. So
Interesting.
for me, life pretty much started with Power Rangers.
Right.
Yeah, and reruns of
unbelievable.
Transformers and Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
You just go for it from there. And Nickelodeon, what was going on over there. Classics such as Space Cases.
Oh, we were just talking about Space Cases.
Yeah.
That is a classic. That's one word for it.
Nickelodeon had a lot of shows in the 90s that around that time period, so around 95 through 98 or so, this is before their their Nicktoons revolution had been occurring, right? They released Doug, Rugrats,
Yeah.
a couple of these like
Rocco.
Rocco. Yeah, those shows were happening. But it was before they went overboard. This is the pre-SpongeBob era.
Okay.
Where they really started realizing how to make money off of all of their cartoons and shit. And when they went off the deep end with live action shows, they were more like sitcom-y as opposed to their like
Okami.
game, Okami, or like their game shows like Guts or
Yeah.
Double
Legends of the Hidden
Dare,
Temple.
Legends of the Hidden Temple,
What's
and
the
all
one
that
they
stuff.
slime people? Was that Double
Double
Dare?
Dare.
Yeah.
Well, they slime people also. in
You can't
others,
do that
but-
on television.
Yeah, that's where it started.
Which then later turned into Figure It Out and all this other stuff. And
Do
so,
you remember?
Summer Sanders.
Do
Love her.
you
oh,
remember?
God damn.
Do you remember, or was he too young? Or too young? Stickly.
Of course. So
Just making sure.
So that is P.O. Box,
That's my dude.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my
New York,
dude.
New York.
Stickly.
And then Face on Nick Jr. and all this stuff. So the 90s
See, I don't know
of
Face.
Nickelodeon, that's because it was more of like a little kid.
Juniors.
You were probably at school and stuff during the time.
That's the thing for me. 90s. What you're talking about is I was a 90s kid. You know what I mean? Like I feel cognizant. I come online and remember lots of things starting in '89 because that's when I'm going to first grade, kindergarten or first grade. I guess both. Maybe that's how it worked. And then I remember going to Ghostbusters 2 in the theater and like having like that's like a crystal clear memory
That's
of doing
89.
that stuff. Yeah, exactly. And so then just going on from there, like I remember when Power Rangers came around and I was a little too old to be into them, but I was super into them. All right, Portillo, they're taking you. No, don't worry about it, Kev. I got this. Everybody say goodbye to Portillo.
Bye, Portillo. See you in 2 weeks.
Okay, I'm coming.
God.
You want me to go move?
Yeah, so
I
on
was-
Nickelodeon, there was all these shows like
better hurry up.
Bye, Priscilla, oh my God. Like My Brother and Me and Space
Oh,
Cases
My Brother and Me,
that
yeah.
had very limited runs.
Yeah, My
Where
Brother
it
and Me was like
12
14 episodes or something. Yeah, 12.
And they put it out and there would just be rerun after rerun after rerun. But we grew up with that shit.
I
So
love
it's
it.
like
I
we could
loved it.
recite those episodes back and forth.
And that was before we had, well, I guess I had the internet at that point, but we weren't using it like this, where it was like, I would sit down and watch, My Brother and Me every day, like, or every Saturday, whatever it was, and I'd be like, waiting for a new episode for like 2 years.
And, that's
And
the
it just
Space
wasn't going to
Cases.
happen.
See, My Brother and Me, it was like a sitcom that just like, it didn't need, it wasn't a storyline. It was ongoing. I mean, Goo was getting into all his adventures and
Right.
stuff.
Goo.
But I mean, no episodes mattered, their order or anything. You can just see them out of order. Space Cases was a Star Trek for kids. So
Space
there
Aces was rad.
It was awesome. And there was like a whole story going. That had 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden it just ended. There wasn't a finale. There wasn't a last episode. It just ended. But they didn't inform any of us about this. And this also went over Space Cases.
Okay.
And this also goes over to Beetleborgs, which was a Power Ranger knockoff. And oh, good lord, there was a lot of Power Ranger knockoffs. VR Troopers, all these other
I remember
motherfucking
VR
things.
Troopers.
But it's like, when I was a little kid, the more the merrier. Mystic Knights of Tirnanog, they looked
Oh yeah, I remember that.
There was a whole bunch of shit. And
that name.
so many of those shows didn't end. They just kept
Stopped.
going and then stopped. So I remember Beetleborgs. Oh, I was so into that. They had the first season. It was dope. Second season, Metallics. I'm like, oh, I'm so sold on this. And then all of a sudden, waiting for season 3, all the toys released in Toys R Us. I bought them all. Waiting to see what's going to happen. And season 3 just never happened.
Wow.
It's sad. I mean, that was the way it was back then. This just reminded me real quick about Christine and I were watching a few months ago when Greg was like on a trip. We were watching Yu-Gi-Oh, the shit, like the cartoon.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
But well, I think
it's
it was
the better of the two.
But
right?
I think it was
'Cause
Yu-
there's like a Pokemon show or about
is
some balls or
garbage.
some
Pokemon
shit. And
was
then there
garbage.
Yu-Gi-Oh. That was that was better.
Then they
right?
improved on it with Digimon.
Oh, Digimon. That's what I'm thinking of. That's the better
Digimon
of all
was
three of them,
they
right?
put the D in front of it because it was definitive.
damn.
Can I finish my story
As
now?
in
Yeah.
dropping the mic. A D.
And I thought it was so funny that we've gotten to the point, maybe I'm just old again with the customizable card games, because I played some of these games when I was a kid, Magic and Star Wars and stuff. But where the entire cartoon, I think I'm thinking of Yu-Gi-Oh, which consisted of them playing a card game in cartoon form and explaining the rules and what the cards did. That was the entire cartoon. And Christine and I was just sitting, and I was just sitting there, I'm like, and he's like, I'm gonna use this card now. It means this,
activate my
this, and
trap
this.
card.
And I'm like, can't you just play the game?
No, but Colin,
like,
you
I
don't understand. Like, so
they're on
Yu-Gi-Oh
a train the
came.
entire time. They're on a
Yu-Gi-Oh
train.
came at the best time because we grew up with Pokemon. That hit us when we were young, and they had the cards come out, and we didn't give a shit about playing that game. Nobody played the Pokemon trading card game. Everyone just collected it, put it in a binder, traded them. Done. Right? Saw if it was shiny, and that was cool. Yu-Gi-Oh came at the much more pivotal point of puberty. Right?
Where you can understand.
So I
you
was
gave
there,
all these
and I
animals
had 2
boobs.
options. I was like, I can go talk to girls, or I can play card games because now I understand this. Now, I was still too young for Magic. Magic I
Magic
can't
is
even imagine
hard.
that,
I still
right?
don't
That
understand.
was the older brothers. The older brothers played Magic, but Yu-Gi-Oh, that show came out. I'm like, oh, I can get behind this. They're playing the card game. That's kind of cool. Me and my friends were addicted to that shit. We spent so much money and we played the shit out of it. So much fun.
When you
It's-
weren't
it's-
doing that, you were
it's a-
furiously masturbating.
That was it.
Oh my god, I was masturbating so much. Everything, my sheets were just. You could just break them. You could drop them.
Your mom comes in, she's like,
Jesus.
"There's no tape on these cards. How are they stuck to the wall?"
All right, so the 90s
Magic.
for me. I was born in '84, so I came of cognizance probably around the same time. 80. I mean, I remember things in the late '80s. So
I remember bits and pieces, but I mean, like, I think kindergarten is like the
Yeah, yeah.
solidification of like something's happening day to day, and I remember this. And
So life was NES every day, and then later SNES. GI Joe. I was I was obsessed with GI Joes. Like it can't even be understated how obsessed with GI Joes I was. Just ask anyone in my family. Just I had fucking a million of those things. And then it was hockey and wiffle ball and rollerblading and biking
Rollerblading's
around
yes.
and barbecues. And I had an in-ground pool, and so we would swim a lot. And it was a lot of travel because my parents had gotten divorced at that point. My mom worked for Delta Connector, and so we used to be able to fly like around in a limited fashion. I used to go to Boston a lot, and Maine, and New Hampshire, and Vermont, and all that kind of stuff. So it was the '90s were a lot of those things. The '90s were also when I became musically cognizant, started playing drums. That's when I got into 311 about 20 years ago, which is fucking unbelievable. When I first got my first 311 record, it was 1995. Actually, it was 96, so it was 19 years ago. The album came out in 95. MTV. I remember for some reason I remember the video for Prodigy's "Breathe" really well, and when the Wallflowers
Firestarter for some reason,
Down
that's
Comes
mine.
the Horse or whatever the fuck it was called, that record with the stars on it with like one headlight and all that stuff. I just remember like a lot of these. I remember grunge, and I don't know. I remember
Music
a lot of
videos, man. I mean, that
was a big part of it, yeah.
Whatever music videos you remember in your head, that was what it was. And I think for me, a big part of it started with Thong Song by Cisco.
Yeah, Cisco,
Because
what
that
up?
was like, I was a little kid. I'm like, oh, I'm about this. And then I remember seeing all the MTV Spring Break. That
Oh my
was like
God.
my life. Because
MTV
my
Spring
God.
Break.
it was so
right.
built around.
Fuck, do they still
your
do that?
off school. No, they do. They do.
they?
Yeah, it's different though.
It's
like-
not
yeah.
nearly as
But
raunchy.
that was like that was the raunchiest thing you could see, and it just took over everyone's life.
That
For,
shit
like,
was on.
for
You your house forever.
Yeah, in 2 weeks you just let the TV on and you just see like their it was TRL all day. It was just countdown after countdown after countdown.
Yeah.
The same videos.
No, but
you're just
am
waiting
I
to see
thinking
it.
the same thing where they would they would go from TRL to then there would be a beach with hot
Yeah.
girls and they'd be like, let's climb a thing, and then bikini people would and like Bill
Yeah.
Bellamy would be like, we're climbing a thing today, and then there's these just hot ass girls like
Yeah.
on the beach yelling at
We're
you.
doing a live episode of The Grind.
Yeah.
And, like somebody's gonna come out and Cisco's gonna come out and
Yeah,
perform,
or
and all these girls
singled out.
who are just wasted are gonna singled out. All these drunk college girls on spring break are gonna come out in their
They do
bikinis.
karaoke. I remember the karaoke was a big thing, and then they did a bunch of stupid contests where it's like, all right, you have this little plastic bag. The winner is whoever fills it with the most body hair. And like,
Yeah, I remember
there was
that.
one contest that I'll never forget. It was like 3 girls and this like 2 guys, and the girls were kind of like screwed. Like they just didn't have much. Like one of them was like kind of shaving her armpits, and it was like a moment where everyone's like, "Oh, what the fuck?" But then, it was just like it was so graphic, and I'll never forget. There was like this bald dude, and he was like, "Fuck," because like one of the other guys started going for his hair. The bald guy just looks at the camera, turns around, and just starts like shaving his balls, and put it in his bag, and he won.
Yeah, well,
Good
those
job,
are
bald
hairy
guy.
balls.
He earned it.
That bald guy went on to be Michael Chiklis.
Yeah. What else is there? I mean, again, like
For me, there was a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, like because that you guys were talking about how you were all like roughly 5 or 6. I was 10, and so I remember like I don't remember any of the shows you just named because I was too old to watch. By then, I had moved on to shows like Beavis and Butthead, right? Which was I remember my to go back to our prior conversation about like how the more things change, the more they always stay the same. My mom watched me watch Beavis and Butthead and was like, "This is it. Society is dead. This is as stupid as it gets. This is as moronic and like sophomoric as it gets, and there is no depth to this at all." But for me, it was a holy shit. This is a cartoon that is not a cartoon. Like this is a cartoon about 2 fucking losers who are just wasting their life. And prior to that, you remember every cartoon before that had been like, "Hey, we're gonna save the day. We're G.I. Joe. Don't kill anyone." And Beavis and Butthead are frying fucking rats in the deep fryer and
making
serving
fun
them
of
to people
music videos.
and making fun of music videos, right?
Awesome.
And so to me, I was like, "Oh my god, this is a revolution to me." And then that to me was. It's funny because you talk about spring. That was always just noise to me. I waited for like the Real World. I loved that.
Oh my God, the
Rules.
Real World.
All of those things to me were like, I kind of have to watch this. This is so weird. Like, it's a show just about a bunch of people that are like living in a house together.
Well,
and
that was
that's
the
it?
thing. Is remember how like crazy that was. Like that
It
was
was
still
weird.
so, like that was the the birth of reality television. That and like Road Rules and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you started watching that shit, you're like, what is this?
But see, I've always been one of those people that like once I find something, I'm super loyal to it.
Yeah.
Like almost to a fault, to the point where like, dude, you gotta stop watching that. Like
Yeah.
it's not cool anymore. So like when Road Rules happened, I was like, I can't remember which one was first. I think Real World.
Real
was
World
first.
was first.
But I hit Real World first, and I was like, I'm into Real World. Road Rules is some
Bastardized,
bastardized
garbage,
version of
yeah.
this where the people actually have to do something.
Yeah, I hated that. I hated the
Bullshit.
challenges and shit. Yeah,
I mean, like
yeah.
I think in Real World, they still had to work. They all had a job where they're like, we're gonna do a sustainable
they
garden.
they
in
had to
Seattle.
start doing that. They had to start doing that because it got boring with people sitting around watching TV.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Or like fighting over each other's peanut butter.
That was an epic moment. No one will ever forget.
There wasn't
That was like that's when we talk about like how it is now. Last topic and like how fragmented we are, and there's no like rhyme or reason. You're into all this stuff. Nobody knows what it is. Da da da. We're big in these different communities or whatever. You think back to fucking.
Puck eating Pedro's peanut butter.
You think back to what I think that's 1994 Real World San Francisco.
Probably.
And like you remember when like. Pedro died right after that series finale or season
serious.
finale, which was crazy. And fucking Bill Clinton had a video play there. And you know what I mean? And he said this like epic thing. He's like, no one in America can say that they don't, and I'm paraphrasing, that they haven't known somebody living with AIDS thanks to him in the real world. And like that was a big moment for people to realize because at the time, like AIDS and HIV was still such a like, oh, that's a gay problem. We have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Da, da, da,
Yeah,
da.
no,
And
very
it
much
wasn't
so.
survivable.
And they're monsters and this. And like,
Yeah.
no, you see this and you're like, this guy's totally normal and awesome. And Puck's an asshole. Kick him out of the house. Yes, kick him out of the house.
And he got kicked out of the house.
Well, that's
There
the
was
thing about
that,
the
and then there was-
'90s that's crazy is like just the way things have changed from the like what was acceptable then to now.
Sure.
Like recently, Big Daddy was on TV and I'm watching it. Adam Sandler. It's
Yeah.
all right, classic '90s Sandler, whatever. Watching it and I'm like, oh my god, so many of the jokes in that. There's so many gay jokes. In
Oh,
that,
yeah, so-
that I'm just like, how did this fly? And then I think back, I'm like, it was funny then. Like this was like these were jokes. These were totally cool. That would not make it into something now.
Oh, God, no.
No,
Yeah.
God, no.
And that really makes me think about like where are we now in terms of like what jokes cannot be made in movies now. Like later when we're looking back
Yeah,
now.
5 years
Oh, right, right, right,
I
right.
think a lot of it's just like jokes about like women and stuff like that. I think
Sure.
that's going to totally change. And like it's really interesting to think about all of it because the 90s were a different time.
They really were.
Yeah.
And it was, and you know, you had times like, just think about all the amazing things that happened. Nice. Everyone always talks about the 80s, and I always say I love the 80s for various reasons as far as cinema is concerned. But the 90s, really, there was a lot. There's a lot that happened. Like, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure South Park started in the 90s.
Yeah, it did 98.
And so I remember
maybe 97.
going on.
No, I was in high school, so yeah, I would have
I
been.
think it was 90. I want to say it was 98 or 97.
It was 97. I think it was 97.
I went to colleges. I was going to go like visit college campuses for the first time, and my parents and I went on a road trip up to like San Luis Obispo to see. I guess it was Cal State San Luis Obispo, because I was just trying to look at everything in California, and we were staying in a motel, and the episode of South Park with the alien anal probes.
Oh, yeah.
was
First
on.
episode.
Was it the first episode? And I was like, this show. I'm just channel surfing, and I was like, oh, this is kind of funny. It's an animated thing, and I've always been drawn to animated things, and I'm like, this show's brilliant.
too.
Again, another one of those moments where I'm like, this is wildly different.
Yeah,
and
this is completely
wildly
different, yeah.
inappropriate. And like, this is an animated show about kids in junior high, and they're talking about getting
Elementary school.
Oh, that's right, elementary school, and they're trying to, and they're still in elementary school, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they're talking about getting their asses probed by aliens, like that's, and like Cartman actually got his ass probed, and he's like, you guys, I'm so, you know, and so like when you talk about the number one voice that I probably did in the '90s, it was Cartman. I think everyone did Cartman. Remember, there was a time in your life where everything was like, "Oh my god, you guys, are you kidding me? For reals?" Or I can't remember.
Cheryl
what
does
he
a
said now.
fucking killer Cartman, believe it or not, which is so funny. Like,
No.
when I'm like, where are you breaking that out from? What?
Just rap
What?
it.
Her best
Why?
impression is the old man from Family Guy.
Yeah, she does the old man from Family, like the creepy old man from Family Guy.
Yeah.
She does it.
You do a good old man too.
Perfect. She's just absolutely perfect with that. Yeah, I mean,
Family Guy's another one, but I don't think Family Guy was until the early 2000s.
no, Family Guy was 2000, I think.
But yeah, I mean, you had
might have been
that.
that.
You
No,
had-
it was earlier than that, and then remember it got canceled. And I remember Family Guy being a big deal that I loved got canceled. Then it came back and canceled again.
It
right?
might have been 99
And
to
then
2001.
They put out the DVDs while I was in college,
Yeah.
and it had already been canceled. And everyone bought the DVDs, and they were like, "Oh fuck!" And they brought Family Guy back because of
It got actually kicked off the air
Was
at
that what
one
it was?
point. Yeah,
I thought it was
it got
double canceled.
canceled, and then I think it came back and got. I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure at one point it got pulled off the air for the. There was an episode where, guys, we did an episode where he was talking about how much he hates New Yorkers or like how much they hate tourists.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of that, like he ends up getting in a fight with Lois, like a physical fight because she was taking karate and like beat the shit out of each other. And they're like, "This is it. We got to pull this show."
Oh, really?
I think I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm in the comments below or on the
It
forums.
might be an episode they don't air anymore. Kind of like the Puerto Rican Day Parade episode of Seinfeld that they
Yeah.
don't air.
Seinfeld was a
another
big
one.
part of it.
Yes, I mean Seinfeld's huge. I mean that's what I was going to say was that. All right, so television was just a huge and pivotal point of
Yeah.
that. I mean, we mentioned before you can't do that on television, and Finders Keepers were fucking really essential like late '80s, early '90s Nickelodeon watching for me. Finders Keepers especially, I fucking loved that show. And Finders Keepers, for people that don't know, was a show where two teams of two kids would be in a house. It was like a house set, and there would be some sort of trivia they'd win, and then they'd have to go through the house and like ransack it to like find certain shit. I fucking loved
I
that
remember
show.
Finders
Oh,
Keepers.
I
How
do
about
remember
Finders?
that.
I loved that show. And when I was
right.
and when I was in college, Ramona and I used to get fucked up and watch it at night on Nick Gas,
Nick Gas. Wow.
which doesn't exist anymore. And then Welcome Back Freshman, Hey Dude.
Hey, dude.
Do you remember
okay.
Welcome Back Freshman? Like I feel
That
like
one I don't remember.
It was a Nickelodeon show where like they were just kids and like they were ninth graders or whatever, but it was like a comedy, and the principal would always talk to them over the loudspeaker and shit like that. That show was awesome. Obviously, Guts and Double Dare and there was a Nick Arcade was fucking awesome.
Nick Arcade was that thing where you saw it and you're like, I want that so bad. The only thing I wanted more than that was the Toys R Us.
Oh, shopping
cart.
spree. Oh, fuck
my
yeah, dude.
Lord.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wanted that thing.
What's funny is you guys are saying these things, and I know all of them, but I didn't watch any of these shows. I think
Really?
I watched them. I had friends that loved Nickelodeon, so when I would go over to their house, they would. Maybe it's because I didn't have cable. Was it a cable show?
Yeah, Nickelodeon was cable.
Yeah.
See, I didn't have cable until probably.
2 days ago.
No, I want to say I didn't have cable throughout the entire 80s. So Nickelodeon to me was just not a
Foreign,
thing. I was
foreign.
like, I don't understand this. And then eventually, by the time we got it, I was like, HBO.
I'm
all the way.
old.
HBO and
Yeah.
MTV were my thing.
Yeah. I mean, the
That's
big thing I
interesting.
think so if you were a kid from 85 to 2005, whatever it's in there, I think that the biggest things it's the transition from Nickelodeon, Disney, and Cartoon Network to MTV, VH1,
Right.
whatever. Then eventually
VH1.
you make it
The rise
way
and
up.
fall of VH1.
The
That was
rise
in
and
the
fall
90s.
and rise and fall of VH1.
VH1
Pop up
is
video, son.
awesome. Oh my god, I love the series.
Yeah, the I love that was their return. I thought right.
Changed me. I mean, I don't know.
Behind
the music was
Behind
the
the
jam.
music.
Oh,
It was
too,
like,
yeah.
and then because here was the most amazing thing about Behind the Music. I swear to God, it was in every single one of them. There was the and then moment,
Yeah, with that big time.
and then they started doing heroin. Wow! Right? It was like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
picture would like
yeah,
spiral
yeah.
and slash, and, like, and that was always the beginning of the end. And then someone either died or
Yeah, then
they would
there was
all
like
get
the
it,
redemption.
They would detox,
like,
right?
Now he lives on the beach. Where he
Right.
walks with his dog.
Right, because they did the one with Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they were like, and they were awesome when they did heroin, and they stopped, and now they haven't done a really good album since. But yeah, VH1 was awesome, and that was another one of those instances where you're like, what? How did I not know that this show was like a thing? When you would see, like, I Love the '80s for the first time, and it was like fresh. I was like, that was only like 6-7 years ago. I remember that. Hey, I remember Star Wars.
Yeah, VH1 definitely was hitting on all cylinders for a while with that kind of stuff. I also, I mean, I can't believe I haven't brought it up yet, but I got to give a big shout out to TGIF, of course.
Yeah.
Which was TGIF for years was just everything. That and Snick and
Oh,
Saturday
God.
Night
What's
Live.
Snick?
Snick was
yeah.
Saturday
Night
Night Nickelodeon.
Are You
It was
Afraid of
like
the
Dark?
Are
House.
You
That
Are You
is.
Afraid of the Dark?
Clarissa.
And Clarissa, and I think Roundhouse was one of the shows for a while. I think Alex Mack started on
Alex
Snick.
Mack was
Alex
there.
Mack was
And I
there.
had such a crush on Alex Mack
Everyone
when I
had
was
a
kid.
crush on Alex Mack.
That's why it was so fun to see her, like,
Boy
as we
Meets
grow
World.
older. 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where it's like she like, and then like I've always been a little younger than her, and now you see her in Mad Men. She wasn't.
Yeah,
in Was she? Oh,
Yeah,
she's one of
that was
the
the younger
She's only
daughter.
in,
She was
she's only in like
Cosgrove's.
10 episodes or
What?
something.
She was the younger daughter, right?
No,
In-
she
No,
was
she's
Ken
like
10 Things I Hate About
Cosgrove's
You.
wife.
And 10
Yeah.
Things
Oh,
I
10
Hate About
Things
You.
I-
She was the one that was. No, wait.
She was the younger daughter.
That was
Yeah.
the Taming of the Shrew remake, right?
Yeah.
With Heath Ledger
Yes.
and Joseph
Styles.
Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Julia Stiles. God, it's a good movie, actually.
Yeah, it is a good movie. So I got to give a shout out to Snick, and I got to give a shout out to because I just really like that. Those were events for me. Like I on Friday nights, like after school, I'd go play wiffle ball or go play hockey or something, and like I'd come home at 8. Like I'd be home and I'd be ready to go.
Yeah.
At 8, and the same thing with Snick. I'd be ready to go at 8.
Yeah, I remember trying to finish
And,
dinner to get ready for Snick, yeah.
It was, and I just
Isn't
I loved Snick. Like I loved. Are You Afraid of the Dark was so fucking awesome. Like I loved that show. I really, really,
was great,
really.
man.
I thought it was very thought provoking. It was like Twilight Zone for fucking kids. I mean, that's basically what it was. It was just a horror themed, more horror themed Twilight Zone. And before you could really understand and watch Twilight Zone and really appreciate it, because Twilight Zone is almost unbeatable. It's like that was almost the gateway drug to
Yeah.
high storytelling.
And
Seems
I
to
was
me-
missing out on this like earlier when I was naming stuff. And when you were mentioning Snick, I was like, what the fuck am I missing? All that.
Oh, all that,
Right.
All that was
SNL
like,
for kids.
Yeah.
It was great.
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
god. I mean, that if anything kind of put me on the path that I'm at today, like from an early state, it was that. It's like,
Pete and
oh,
Pete.
I can be a little kid that's funny. Like that's that's what I want to do.
Right.
And like, oh my god, that was great. And then that turned into Keenan and Kel, which classic, so good, so goddamn good.
You mentioned Twilight, or not Twilight, excuse me, Twilight Zone.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that was X-Files. That was
X-Files.
That
X-Files
was one of
so
those
good
where
too.
I was that show hit, and I'm like, this is cool. This is a show that really knows its audience and really understands like fun, cool sci-fi horror and how to tell that. I'm gonna give a quick shout out to a show that holds a special place in my heart. Because I never thought I'd like it. It was one of those shows that when I was a kid, I fought against liking it until one day I was like, it was the first instance I remember of thinking, shit, I like this show that I'm not supposed to like. And it was a show called Beverly Hills 90210.
Oh, dude,
Oh,
I love
right,
Beverly
yeah.
Hills 90210. All about it. All about it.
And I watched way too much of that show to the point where I was like, I mean, you have to understand, I don't have an older sister. It's just me.
You had no excuse.
I had no
I was gonna
excuse.
say,
I
that was
just-
my excuse.
I didn't have an older sister. It was just on, and I was like, give it a shot. Because nothing else is on. I'm gonna give it a shot. And then slowly but surely, I had to come to terms with the fact that I in fact, liked Beverly Hills.
I got to see what's up with the
You got those
Walshes.
moments, man. For me, it was Degrassi and One Tree Hill.
Oh,
You
Degrassi.
get- you
Like
get
old
fucking
Degrassi,
in
like
it.
80s
no,
Degrassi?
No, the Next Generation.
Oh, okay.
Which had all the same characters as the parents.
I love the thing I love about Degrassi is that it just never like if you go back, it's
What
just
was
been on
Degrassi?
for fucking ever. It's been
It
on
was a
for like
Canadian high school drama show.
That was one with where Drake came up.
Drake
on,
came
right?
from Next Generation. Yeah.
But it was really like I watched on Amazon. I don't know if it's still there. I started watching the original like 85, 86 like series, and
It goes there.
It's dark as fuck.
That's the tagline. Is it goes there.
Like in one of the first episodes, like one of the kids' parents just die in like a car accident. And he has like a fight with them beforehand, and then they go to the movies and they die in a car accident. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Like, so
Teach
yeah,
these kids some
Drake
goddamn
got shot.
values.
Degrassi was a very popular, still popular, I think.
Very popular.
It's still on?
Canadian.
Yeah, it kept going, It got to the next generation, and then they stopped it, and now it's like a web show. But it's like it's still going.
So
just
it's
that's where
basically
people are
high
consuming
school,
it.
but like every 4 years they change the cast or what?
Yeah, and I mean, like the way they have it is like there's this whole cinematic universe for it, where the characters from the '80s show are like the parents and like the principal and all that stuff of it, and then it's all the kids. But then those kids have little brothers and sisters who had been characters earlier. Then
Got
they grow
it.
into high
And they
school,
grow
and they
up.
have their
Yeah,
friends,
okay.
and it just kind of keeps going.
it's
But it's
clever.
all one universe.
It was
Jay and Silent Bob were in it.
Really?
Yeah, they were. Kevin Smith directed and wrote a 3-part episode.
That was the first time I'd ever heard of it.
Yeah, it was a. I mean, I had not been exposed until I was too old to be watching Degrassi.
Yeah.
But that didn't stop me. I want to be clear, that didn't stop me.
Shouldn't.
So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed like these various like touchstone shows, but I do, unfortunately, because we were just talking about it with the Snapchat thing. You know, we were dumb kids or whatever. God, I was just like so immersed in television. It was just
We all were.
I was just so obsessed with that shit, and to the point of the X-Files. Like the X-Files used to scare the shit out of me. Like the intro music.
Oh yeah, Alone.
Yeah, like the intro music, that and Unsolved Mysteries, which was like a huge joke in my house. Like people like used to just blast Unsolved Mysteries when I was on to scare the shit because they knew it would like bother me or whatever. Like,
Tonight!
No one ever
No
knew
Robert Stack, go
that
away.
the man was living right next door to
Robert,
the
like
child.
Unsolved Mysteries theme song is it's terrifying. It's terrifying. And Robert Stack's just like in some fucking
He's
castle.
always in a trench. Yeah, he's in a trench coat.
He's like in a trench coat, just like smoke and like, and he's like in a.
you
like
don't
a turret
know
of the
this.
castle.
They should
but
put
the
all
killer
those
might
on
be living
Netflix,
under
man.
your bed.
I
Yeah.
would love to watch me some goddamn Unsolved Mysteries. Yeah, but no, I think TV, like, it's just like what we were talking about earlier. Like, you're impressionable and you're young and all this shit's awesome. It's like Saved by the Bell. Parker Lewis Can't Lose. I
Parker
remember
Lewis Can't
being-
Lose was the jam.
Had such a. I love
The
that
jam.
fucking show, man.
It got canceled way too early.
Yeah, I know,
Way too
I
early.
know.
It was before its time.
Another coming of age MTV one we didn't bring up, Undressed. I remember
Undressed,
Undressed.
yes,
that was gonna be, that was
yes,
such a
yes,
momentous
yes.
thing. Of
Oh,
like,
it was
they're
so hot.
It's all gonna be about they're like kids near our age. They're having sex in
They're talking about
college. and done
panties?
it. Yeah, exactly.
They said
exactly.
panties?
Yeah.
I used to think that. I remember watching Undressed and being like, "This is so hot." Like,
Yeah. Oh
like-
my God.
Like, and it wasn't even like you weren't like sitting there because I wasn't furiously masturbating or anything, but you were watching and being like, "This is what," because it was all about college, and we were in right.
Yeah.
We were in high school at the time, and I was like, "This is so extraordinary." Like I'm like, I can't wait to go to college. College now.
I want to touch that. I can't wait to touch that.
Yeah, that's a great example, man. Undressed was, and I got to give a shout out to, you know, speaking out MTV, we talked about Beavis and Butthead, which was awesome. That was the only show my parents wouldn't let me watch ever. Like when
They
I was all, and I
they
used
were
to-
right to.
and I used to just go to my friend's house and watch it. But Daria.
Oh, Daria.
was another really,
So
really.
fucking
I
good.
connected very deeply with
Man,
that show.
MTV nights. MTV closed out every night. I remember with some great fucking show. Whether it was Real World Road Rules, Daria. They had like a great fucking lineup. Undressed was on like what 3 times a week, 2 times a
Like
week.
really late. Yeah.
and
like
it was on
10:30.
late, and it was weird. It was weird because they'd have like 3 different story threads for like
Yeah.
a month, and then like sub somebody out and do this, and then fucking Loveline was on, like when they did the
Oh,
Loveline
yeah.
TV show. Yeah,
God damn.
Oh right, Jesus, yeah.
So were you guys entirely like? Does Disney Channel have any resonance with any
No.
of you?
no.
Never
I mean, I
watched
remember
What was
ki-
it?
Disney Channel.
growing
no,
up.
so I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I remember Kids Incorporated. I watched Kids Incorporated. That was the one I liked. But like outside of that, no. We left that. I left that stratosphere before it became what it became for you.
Yeah, Disney Channel to me, like what I remember about Disney Channel, it existed and people had it, but there was like tiers of cable on Long Island. I'm sure it was like that everywhere. Where like we had expanded cable, but Disney was not included in it. Like you had to get like another package.
See,
I
for
just
yeah,
me,
it
that
has
was
same
that
for
was
me.
Cartoon Network. So I have none of those memories. Like all these like
Oh, Cartoon Network was
contemporaries
the
to me.
jam for a while, dude. Like Dexter's Lab or
Yeah.
Johnny Bravo.
Dexter's
Girls.
Laboratory is awesome.
All of those were like.
and I just missed out on all that. That
Those
was
were
when I went to
great.
my uncle's house and I like was allowed to, you know.
But see,
watch
to me,
TV.
those were great because they were the antithesis of the Disney stuff. Like you'd seen Disney
Adult
animation,
Cartoon
you were
Network?
like, well, like Dexter's Lab was like you were like, this is weird. Maybe it was just the Gendy. I can never say the guy's last name, Tartatovsky, the guy that did like Dexter's Lab and I think he did Powerpuff Girls also.
Yeah.
Huge
not.
inspiration on my brother.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell.
Definitely. Those were awesome because you'd watch them and you were like, this is kind of like a normal kids show, but kind of twisted and a little bit like sarcastic, just to a degree.
I think you just weren't watching the other stuff because it was all the same.
Maybe. I mean, maybe because at that time I craved those. I was like, I really want kind of smart animation, and then you got to what I would think was probably the pinnacle of animation in the '90s, which was Clone High. And when you hit
Clone High.
and then it was the first
Mr. B?
animated show that actually got pulled.
That
Like,
one, and that's the one that broke my heart.
Yeah.
That's the one I remembered getting pulled because I was so into it, and you never knew how it ended. And in college, years later in college, I had a friend who had the DVDs from Canada.
Yeah.
That's
and you
such
watch
a
that
weird
last
show.
episode, and it ends on such a horrible cliffhanger. You're like, oh my god.
It's so weird to me because that is one of the few shows. That show and Paperboy, the game, are two things that I'm like, how does everybody have the same experience I did with that game or show? I would have never expected it to be that much of a hit. I thought it was a weird thing that only I watched or only I played.
Yeah.
But it's like everyone fucking did. But it's not like it was some huge primetime thing that was promoted all the time. But everybody I know loves those
Well,
things.
it's because I mean, it had a really strong pilot episode, and every episode that followed, it just hit. It just nailed it, man. That show was one of the only animated shows that in South Park made me gutturally laugh out loud. Where like their impression of John F. Kennedy was just, I'm like, this is so fucking hilarious, and I can see at the same time, and I'm talking, I must have been like, I'm 16, 17 at this point. I'm like, this, I don't know a lot about the world because I grew up in Riverside, California, which is a very small town in Southern California. Our side, as they say. Not a bad place, just little closed off from the rest of the world. But I think that this is offensive to some degree. And then Gandhi came out, and I was like, no, I think that this portrayal of Gandhi as sort of a nerd who's trying to get laid, instead of like an amazing religious and spiritual leader, may be construed as slightly offensive to people. And sure shit it was. It got pulled, and it got pulled fast, man. It was like, I think they only had aired 6 or 7 episodes. Yeah. And they hit. I guess they did a whole season. I think Dagan said they did a whole season.
In Canada, it ran the whole season or the whole season.
Yeah, they yanked that shit fast, and I was like, dude, this is
up there.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that show.
Hail Canada.
That show was spot on for me. That was one of those where I'm like, they fucking nailed this show.
Crushed it.
And then it was gone. I'm like, that's what sucks. And that's to our prior conversation where it's like, yeah, everything's moving so fast. At least because of the internet now. Like, that show would have had a chance of coming back. Had it gotten canceled, it would have immediately gone to Netflix.
Right.
And Netflix would have like, nope, we'll take it. You don't want it on network television? We'll take it. Or it would have gone to Hulu or been on the web. So someone would have kickstarted it and been like, please keep this going. And then it would have gone one more season and been terrible. And they're like, okay, we're good. We're good. We don't need it anymore. But you know what I mean? Like, that was what's so sad about it. The 90s were so finite. The show would just come up. And you had no idea if that was the next episode of X-Men or not. Like, I don't know where this is in the timeline of X. Oh, we're in the Age of Apocalypse now?
All right.
Dope. Okay. One episode. Never knew what the fuck happened with that, until I ended up watching them on Netflix 10, 15 years later.
You're right. Colin, we're now going to initiate a crowdfunding thing for us to bring back a Space Cases My Brother and Me crossover.
I would love
We
that.
need to know what happened.
I would love that.
We need to know the
Cases,
story.
Space Cases was so good. Harlan, man.
I can't believe it's taken this long for any of you to bring up Boy Meets World.
No, we did. I mean, we don't need to.
Okay.
I think we
goes
got
without
to good
saying.
territory. We hadn't been. We've talked a lot about TGIF and Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
we got out into new territory.
I have to give the last thing I need to say is because I brought up Disney Channel original movies. I'm just so upset that you guys didn't. have
Brink.
those.
Well, so at that
Brink.
point,
Okay,
Brink.
thank you.
98 was when I got Disney Channel, and I think spring '98 was when Brink came out. I
Brink
remember,
was
I
one of
remember
the
watching.
first ones. Susie Q with the Pink Ranger. One of the first moments I realized that women were an important thing in my life. The movie opens up with her going to prom. Spoilers: she dies.
Oh fuck!
It's a
She
very
took it to the
drunk
brink.
driving. But
Wait, you're
took it
drunk
to the
driving or
brink.
she kill herself?
drunk driving.
Oh, okay. Kevin
Someone-
made.
a
She
car
shot
hits
herself
she
in her
comes
head.
off
I'm
of
like,
the.
Jesus, Kevin.
It's the whole
Insensitive.
thing, but the movie opens with her getting dressed for
Insensitive.
prom,
Oh, I
and
see.
she's like in her underwear, and then getting into this dress, and that moment changed me.
Yeah.
It was that changed who I was.
I remember there was a Disney movie original where it was like Freaky Friday, where the two sisters switch bodies.
Yeah.
And one of them was Katherine Heigl, and it was her first thing
Yeah,
ever. And I
yeah.
remember stopping on that one and watching that.
hot.
And if that was on TV, I was watching that as well.
Man, I'm blanking on the name of that. This
Doesn't
sucks.
matter. Thank you, Rhonda Strong. That was a great topic.
That was a
We
good
enjoyed
one. That was an enjoyable
Thanks,
one.
guys.
We believed in it so much, we think it's going to be one of the best performing ones, so we sponsored it. This is from Squarespace. Squarespace has sponsored this topic as well as Rhonda Strong. They're working together in conjunction. Thank you both for your support. Nick,
Yes.
we use Squarespace.
I just used it again, yeah.
What did you use it for now?
My brother needed a website designed real quick, and he was like, well, I'm going to use this other thing. And I'm like, don't do that because I can help you out real quick, and I can do it in like an hour. And I did it for him in an hour, and he was blown away by how cool it looks.
No, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that happened. That's
Yeah,
every
my
time
brother-
I come here, I expect you just to tell me about kindoffunny.com being built on Squarespace and how
No,
great it was.
my brother's doing a fun thing over on YouTube called Teen Dance Challenge, but you can go to teendancechallenge.com and you can see that site's been built with Squarespace. I
Okay.
built it in I think an hour and a half. I probably took a little longer than I needed to because I'm not about spacing. So I'm like, I'm gonna put this little space right here and cool stuff. But yeah, everything's just it's so easy to use and templated that you can just go get a cool website that looks exactly like that, and within a few hours have something nice.
All right. Well, if you want to go to Squarespace, ladies and gentlemen, and get 10% off your first purchase, go there and use the offer code Kind of Funny. You enter it, you get in there, you get 10% off. Of course, Squarespace provides simple, powerful, and beautiful. Of course, Squarespace provides simple, powerful, and beautiful website. I'm going to say that they left out tools. Website tools that look professionally designed regardless of skill level. No coding required. Not only does Squarespace provide you with intuitive and easy-to-use tools to create the website with, Squarespace also has state-of-the-art technology powering your site to ensure security and stability. We're secure and stable, right, Nick?
100%.
Thank you. And you know you can trust in Squarespace for your website needs when millions of people like us and some of the most respected brands in the world, like us, trusted them too. We're a respected brand in the world, right?
Definitely one of the most respected
Tim's
brands.
huge on everything.
So everybody go to squarespace.com, enter the offer code Kind of Funny, get 10% off your first purchase. Squarespace, build it beautiful. As always, thank you for your support, Squarespace.
Is it build it beautiful?
Yes, it is. It's build it
Or
beautiful.
build it beautiful?
Build it beautiful.
Build it beautiful.
Build it beautiful. Is that what you said?
comma, beautiful.
Yeah.
Build it, you beautiful bastard. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the GameOverGreggy Show. If you didn't know, each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindoffunny, where you can toss us a few bucks and get every episode early. If you got no bucks to toss, no big deal. Head over to youtube.com/kindoffunny, where we post everything topic by topic, day by day, until we post the entire show for free on Friday as an MP3 and video. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Nick, you're always on that fucking phone.
I just had a
You
good
got
idea for a
shattered
topic.
thing.
Oh, like you should
I've got a
talk.
different
You're on your
topic.
phone for fucking 2 topics.
That was the
Snapchatting
point.
away.
That was
Colin's phone was
you
blowing
you
up.
looked at your
Colin's
phone
getting
during that time.
I'm
too.
getting a bunch of text messages here.
No. I wasn't even making fun of that
Colin
one.
literally-
Yeah, I've seen your family conversation that's happening. When you were looking at the Snapchat information.
I don't know if you noticed this, but Colin and I had an entire conversation with one look. Did you guys see that earlier?
No.
Where I looked at him because the phone was going off, and I gave him that buzzing is annoying me. And Colin looked back at me and said, I realize that's annoying you. And now that I know it's annoying you, I'm going to let it keep going. And that whole thing happened. And then I was like, touche. It's
just like-
that's how we do it.
The Disney Channel movie was called Wish Upon a Star.
Fuck yes, that's my boy. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.